Back to 1983, starting by marrying my ex-wife's best friend. Return to 1983, marrying my ex-wife's best friend. I treated you like my best friend, and you went and slept with my boyfriend. Should I give you an award for being the best friend? In the dim, faint haze of sleep, a woman's angry voice echoed in his ears. Soon, the sound of shouting, struggling, and screaming followed. Jiang Nian suddenly woke up, his mind in a daze, looking around confusedly. What greeted his eyes wasn't the suffocating hospital room but a dim, cramped adobe house, one that wasn't unfamiliar to him. Everything, from the worn-out furniture to the chipped teacup, and the torn calendar half-stripped from the wall, felt like a flood of memories. May 6, 1983, the 24th day of the third lunar month Li Xia, beginning of summer. What was going on? Had he been reborn? The sunlight streaming in through the window warmed Jiang Nian's face, making everything seem unreal. He turned and looked toward the corner of the room, where a girl was wrapped in a thin blanket. Her small head buried in a flowery quilt, she cried incessantly as two women yanked at her hair, spewing insults like slut and whore. The look in her eyes, filled with helplessness and grievance, made his heart ache. This scene, it was all too familiar, shaking Jiang Nian to his core. It was her Lin Wan. The woman who would haunt him with guilt for the rest of his life. The two women currently beating and insulting her were his ex-wife, Tang Weinian, and Tang Weinian's mother, Wang Lan. In his memories, the reason his marriage with Tang Weinian fell apart was because her mother, Wang Lan, had made exorbitant demands during the wedding preparations, 32 dowry items plus 500 yuan in cash. Jiang Nian couldn't afford it, so the marriage was called off. Not long after, he started a relationship with Lin Wan. But at that time, he didn't love Lin Wan. He merely saw her as a replacement for Tang Weinian. When Tang Weinian and her mother cornered them on the Kanga heated platform, beating and insulting Lin Wan, Jiang Nian didn't intervene, and secretly felt a twisted satisfaction. He felt pleased that Tang Weinian still cared for him. The most shameless part was that the very next day, he broke up with Lin Wan. The insults from Tang Weinian and her mother, Jiang Nian's indifference and betrayal, and the villagers' gossip all crushed Lin Wan's spirit. Her rural life was ended prematurely. Jiang Nian never expected that, just 3 months later, news came that Lin Wan had committed suicide. A life taken, 3 lives ruined. It turned out that 2 months after returning to the county, Lin Wan found out she was pregnant. In that era, an unwed pregnancy was an unbearable shame. Her parents kicked her out, and with nowhere to turn, she chose to drown herself. When Jiang Nian heard the news, guilt and regret consumed him. Even though he became a billionaire later in life, doing good deeds, nothing could redeem the guilt he carried in his heart. You shameless! You should be paraded in the streets for everyone to see how you seduce men. If this were ancient times, would throw you into a pigsty. The harsh words filled the room, attracting a crowd of gossiping villagers. The rumors and whispers surged one after another. Enough! Jiang Nian roared, suddenly standing up. His unexpected anger sent Tang Weinian and her mother stumbling backward, both staring at him in shock. Jiang Nian, you dare shout at me? Tang Weinian, eyes red, pointed at his nose and yelled, behind my back, you do such shameless things, and now you yell at me. You bastard! Exactly, do you still want to marry my daughter? If you do, get out of the way. I'll kill this shameless little slut. Wang Lan, like a mother hen, brandished her hands as if to charge at Lin Wan. But before she could move, Jiang Nian grabbed her arm and gave her a fierce glare, causing her to freeze in place. Marry your daughter? In my past life, I betrayed such a good woman for your daughter, and now your daughter cheated on me, had an affair, and colluded with her lover to steal my fortune. If I married your daughter, it would be like jumping into a dung pit to drown. I won't marry your daughter, not even in your dreams. Let me make it clear today, even if you offer no dowry, even if you give her to me for free, I still don't want her. Tang Weinian and Wang Lan were stunned into silence. They never imagined that Jiang Nian, who once loved Tang Weinian so much, would say such things. Back then, during the wedding preparations, when Tang Weinian's mother made outrageous demands, Jiang Nian had kneeled and begged for half the day. If it wasn't for the fact that his family couldn't afford it, he would never have given up on Tang Weinian. Par. My daughter is beautiful, a broadcaster from the Hongxing commune, even a college student could marry her. What are you, A mud-stained country bumpkin, poor as hell, only a slut like her would look at you. You think I'd give my daughter to you for free? Dream on. Mom, stop talking, Tang Weining interrupted, pulling her mother back as she shot an odd look at her. Wang Lan rolled her eyes. Jiang Nian, I know you still have feelings for me. If you come back to me, I'll pretend I didn't see any of this. I won't ask for a dowry. I'll follow you and love you wholeheartedly. Jiang Nian sneered inwardly. In his past life, after marrying Tang Weining, their child was born prematurely before 8 months, and she lied to him, claiming it was an early birth due to exhaustion. Only when their child grew older did Jiang Nian realize that the son wasn't his. Now thinking about it, the sudden appearance of Tang Weining and her strange behavior made it clear that she was looking for him to take the role of her rebound. No need. The past is behind us. Let us each go our own way, no debts between us. Tang Weining was stunned. Lin Wan, it must have been you. I treated you like my best friend, and you seduced my man. Seeing Jiang Nian's final decision, Tang Weining immediately shifted the blame onto Lin Wan. No, it's not like that. We only got together after you and Jiang Nian broke up, Lin Wan quickly explained. Even so, you shouldn't be with him. You know I was about to marry him, and yet you went to bed with him. Aren't you doing this on purpose to disgust me? Lin Wan, usually gentle and quiet, wasn't weak. She glanced at Jiang Nian and lowered her voice, saying, Weining, you can't be so selfish. Jiang Nian is such a great man. If you don't want him, someone else will. I didn't ruin your relationship. I genuinely like him. It's not shameful. Don't you dare say that. Tang Weining screamed, furious, and slapped Lin Wan. Jiang Nian caught her wrist, twisting it until she winced in pain, her face turning pale. What are you doing, you bastard? Let go of me. Seeing her daughter being hurt, Wang Lan lunged at Jiang Nian, slapping at his back. The ruckus attracted a crowd of villagers, who eagerly spread gossip outside. In less than an hour, all sorts of versions of the story were circulating. She's my current girlfriend, and she'll be my wife and the mother of my children. If you dare lay a finger on her, try it. Jiang Nian flung Tang Weining's arm away, his fierce gaze making it clear he wasn't joking, and that he would fight if necessary. Fine, Jiang Nian, don't regret it. You and that slut will never last. Wang Lan cursed angrily, dragging her daughter away without looking back, though in her heart, she didn't feel too hurt. She never really liked Jiang Nian. If it wasn't for her daughter being so shallow, would she have tolerated this humiliation? Thanks for the blessing, will definitely last forever, as long as you don't regret it. Don't come crawling back to me. Who I'm with is none of your business. Jiang Nian shouted, locking the door behind them. Inside, Lin Wan had already put on her clothes, but her expression was still a little disheveled, and she looked like someone you couldn't help but feel sympathy for. I'm sorry. The apology carried the weight of all the guilt from his past life, and it was heavy beyond measure. Lin Wan didn't respond immediately. Instead, she suddenly threw herself into Jiang Nian's arms, choking on her sobs. Is what you said true? Will you really marry me? Yes. As long as you're willing, we'll get married tomorrow. I swear I'll be good to you for the rest of my life. Jiang Nian spoke with sincere emotion. He had wronged her in the past life, and this time, he would make sure to make it up to her. Chapter 2, Nothing Will Be Missing. Lin Wan couldn't believe it was true. Jiang Nian had always been deeply in love with Tang Weining. To pursue her, he would confess to her every day at exactly 6 o'clock without fail. Anything Tang Weining liked, he would go to great lengths to acquire it for her. Despite Lin Wan being in no way inferior to Tang Weining in every aspect, in Jiang Nian's eyes, she was almost invisible. If it weren't for Tang Weining's mother demanding such a high dowry, 3 rounds of betrothal gifts and 500 yuan during their wedding, Jiang Nian would have never ended up with Lin Wan. Lin Wan even felt that her relationship with Jiang Nian was more about impulse, and that she was only pursuing him with an unrealistic hope. But now, Jiang Nian's firm words shattered her defenses, and she buried her face in his shoulder, crying and releasing the pain she'd been holding inside. Seeing her distress, Jiang Nian gently stroked her head, comforting her. After a long while, Lin Wan finally calmed down. She wiped the tears from her face and looked at Jiang Nian with shy eyes. As long as Jiang Nian was willing to take responsibility for her, she was no longer afraid of anything. At this moment, Jiang Nian's heart was complicated. He swore that he would give Lin Wan the life of a rich wife. He would spend the rest of his life making sure he only gave his best to the ones who truly deserved it. Just then, Jiang Nian's parents, who had gone out early to work, returned. They tried to open the door, but it was locked. They began to scold Jiang Nian from outside, but when they looked through their window, they were surprised to see Jiang Nian holding Lin Wan in his arms. Goodness! Jiang Nian's mother, Wang Hong, was both surprised and happy. She quickly pulled her husband, who was frozen in place, away, fearing they might ruin their son's moment. This child, just a couple of days ago, he was dying over that Tang Weinian girl. Why is he hugging Lin Wan now? Finally, he has come to his senses. Jiang Nian's father, Jiang Dasan, was more experienced and sternly slammed his pickaxe onto the ground, saying angrily, "You can still laugh. I'm afraid your son might be just playing with her. Lin Wan is such a good girl. If he dares to mess her around, I'll break his legs." Wang Hong froze in place. "No way. Our son isn't he like that," she replied, still hoping. "Get out of the way," Jiang Dasan snapped. "You don't even know your own son. He did so many ridiculous things just to chase after Tang Weinian. Can he just forget everything so quickly? Now he is with Lin Wan, claiming he is not playing with her feelings. No. There is no way our family will have such a disgraceful son. I'm going to beat some sense into him today." At this point, Jiang Dasan angrily picked up his pickaxe again, ready to go in and teach his irresponsible son a lesson. Wang Hong broke into a cold sweat, knowing how fiery her husband's temper could be. She rushed to hold him back, shouting, "You old fool, do you want to kill our son? You need to get the facts straight first." Creak. At that moment, the door opened, and Jiang Nian walked out holding Lin Wan's hand. Perhaps it was because of Wang Hong's words, or because Jiang Dasan saw his son was not so cold-hearted, but he lowered the pickaxe and gave Jiang Nian a fierce glare. "You'd better explain yourself. If you get one word wrong, I won't recognize you as my son." Jiang Nian immediately knelt on the ground. He knew that although his father was short-tempered, he was a man of integrity. In his past life, his actions led to Lin Wan's death. His father had been so furious he spat blood, and from that point on, severed ties with him, refusing to let him step foot in the family home again. And because of his guilt, Jiang Dasan fell ill with depression and passed away one stormy night, never forgiving Jiang Nian. When Jiang Nian learned this news, he sank into deep regret. His mother told him that his father never forgave him and wouldn't allow him to bow or light incense for him when he died. Time had passed, and even though he became a billionaire through the winds of reform, Lin Wan and his father were shadows that could never be erased from his life. He raised his head, looking at his father's angry face, then spoke resolutely, "Dad, I want to marry Lin Wan. If you want to beat me, then go ahead." Jiang Dasan froze for a moment before slowly lowering his pickaxe, then asked, "Is this really what you want?" "Yes." "You old fool." Wang Hong immediately said, "I told you, our son isn't playing around. We almost misunderstood him." Upon hearing Jiang Nian's words, Wang Hong was so happy that she couldn't stop grinning. She let go of Jiang Dasan and hurried to help her son up, but her gaze couldn't help but linger on Lin Wan's face. She was so pleased. Lin Wan was beautiful, had a good figure, was well educated, and came from an excellent family background. Her parents were reportedly high-ranking officials in the city. No matter how you looked at it, Lin Wan was a match for their son. This is the kind of thing a real man would say. "But have you asked Lin Wan if she is willing?" Jiang Dasan's tone softened when he heard Jiang Nian's words. Wang Hong rolled her eyes at her husband. Lin Wan, looking shy, gazed at Jiang Nian with warmth and happiness in her eyes. Did she really need to be asked? It was unnecessary. "Uncle, I'm willing," Lin Wan said, with a slight smile on her lips. This answer left Jiang Dasan stunned. He quickly added, "Girl, are you sure? This kid is not the best, you don't want to suffer. If you need anything, just say it, and I'll handle it." "Dad, stop talking nonsense, Wang Hong scolded as she pinched her husband's back. Then, she smiled at Lin Wan, don't listen to your uncle. I can tell you really like our son. If you have any requests, just say it, and Aunt will do her best to fulfill them. Lin Wan hesitated for a moment, then bit her lip and said, Aunt, I don't have any demands. As long as Jiang Nian treats me well, that's enough. Good, he must treat you well. If he dares to treat you badly, I won't let him off, Wang Hong said, her heart bursting with joy. The thought of her son marrying such a good girl made her feel like everything that went wrong before was now worth it. Previously, when Tang Weiniang's mother had demanded a ridiculous dowry, their family had lost face. Thinking about how Wang Lan had said, no money. Then don't waste a good girl's time, made Wang Hong furious. It had almost seemed like her son was going to be a lifelong bachelor. But now, it was all good. Not only would her son not be a bachelor, but there wouldn't even be a dowry demanded. And most importantly, Lin Wan was far better than Tang Weiniang in every way. Not good. Without a dowry, the villagers will think we look down on Lin Wan. Our family's reputation is not great, but I don't want people to think Lin Wan is lowering herself. We have to give the dowry, Jiang Dasan said seriously, puffing on his tobacco pipe. Upon hearing this, Wang Hong couldn't help but pinch him again. Is something wrong with your head? Jiang Nian then added, last time, we spent all the money on Weiniang's dowry. Since the marriage is off, they shouldn't keep it. Go ask for it back from them. Jiang Dasan took another puff of his pipe and looked seriously at Lin Wan. Girl, I don't have much, and I haven't saved much my whole life. But if you marry into our family, it's our blessing. Though we don't have much to give, please don't feel bad. Uncle, I won't mind, Lin Wan said, moved by his words. Jiang Nian added, don't worry, Mom and Dad. The dowry won't be an issue. I will make sure Lin Wan has a grand wedding and that no one talks behind our backs. Hearing this, Lin Wan felt a warm feeling in her heart. She didn't care if Jiang Nian's family was rich or not, what mattered was that he truly cared about her. At least he had the right attitude. Enough with the grand promises. Go and get the dowry back. Remember, besides 3 new sets of clothes, 2 blankets, a bicycle, and 50 yuan. Wang Hong urged, then quickly took Lin Wan's hand and headed back into their house, her heart overflowing with joy. Chapter 3, asking for the dowry back. Dream on. You little brat, why didn't you tell me you were pregnant? Who's the father of the child, do you know? Wang Lan was fuming, her eyes nearly shooting sparks. How could she not be angry? Being unmarried and pregnant was unacceptable in this day and age. Just the thought of it was enough to ruin a reputation. No wonder this girl, Tang Weiniang, never looked at Jiang Nian before, no matter how much he pursued her. She ignored him completely. But now, suddenly, she was going to marry him in just a few days. If Wang Lan had known this was going to happen, she wouldn't have cared about the dowry at all, no matter how much it was. She would have shoved her daughter right into Jiang Nian's arms. Where else could she find such a great man to take over her daughter? Jiang Nian was tall, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, and he looked incredibly handsome. Most importantly, he was totally devoted to her daughter. Marrying him now would be a good deal. If they had children later, they could always make up an excuse. The more Wang Lan thought about it, the angrier and more regretful she became. It's all your fault. You thought Jiang Nian was poor and insisted on the ridiculous dowry, a dowry of 3 rounds, 1 bell, 32 legs. In this day and age, only wealthy city folks could afford such extravagant dowries. In the countryside, people barely scraped by, and dowries were mostly limited to a few new clothes, a set of bedding, or sometimes a sewing machine or bicycle, which was already considered a very good deal. Her mother, at their wedding, demanded that ridiculous dowry, 3 rounds, 1 bell, 32 legs, plus an extra 500 yuan. How could she not have made the situation worse? Tang Weiniang sobbed, feeling even more wronged. If it weren't for her mother's outrageous demand at the wedding, forcing the situation, she would have already been married to Jiang Nian. But she couldn't help herself. She'd gotten used to Jiang Nian's affection and, thinking he'd do anything to please her, had blindly followed her mother's lead, expecting Jiang Nian to bend to her will. Who knew he'd turn around and go after her best friend? You brat, you're blaming me now. Wang Lan gritted her teeth, clutching her chest, nearly choking with fury. Enough. Stop crying. Since you don't even know who the father of the baby is, Jiang Nian will have to take the responsibility. You just need to say that the baby is his. Let us see if he dares to back out. Wang Lan glared fiercely at her daughter. Seeing that she was still crying, she slapped her hard on the backside. Stop crying. If you cry again, I won't care about you anymore. Mom, do you really think that will work? Tang Weinian sniffled as she slowly got up, wiping her tears. What do you mean, will it work? The bastard got to own up to this. He is the father now. Just as they were discussing the situation, a figure appeared in the yard. Wang Lan quickly spotted Jiang Nian, who was tall and handsome, and motioned for Tang Weinian to stop crying. See. He has come. This kid is still thinking about you. Pull yourself together and stop looking so pitiful. Don't give him any reason to doubt. With that, Wang Lan stood up and walked into the yard to meet Jiang Nian. Seeing Jiang Nian, she knew her daughter's secret was out. Still, she couldn't help the bitterness in her voice. Oh, so now you've remembered my daughter's good qualities, huh? Looks like you're a bit clever after all. Jiang Nian didn't bother with her tone. He had no time for her games and didn't want to waste words. He knew the more he said, the worse it would get. No, I'm here to get the dowry back, Jiang Nian replied bluntly, his eyes scanning the yard. His gaze landed on a bicycle parked by the window, an old but sturdy Yongji brand bicycle. He immediately walked over to it. Seeing Jiang Nian approaching the bicycle, Wang Lan immediately rushed over and grabbed the back of the seat, panicking. Jiang Nian, what are you doing? She was flustered. He wasn't here to beg for forgiveness. He was here to demand the dowry back. Wang Lan's reputation in the village was notorious for being harsh and unreasonable. Once she got her claws into something, getting it back was as difficult as climbing to the sky. Seeing her daughter's bicycle being moved, Wang Lan got desperate. She yanked the bike's back seat and threw herself onto the ground, preparing to make a scene, hoping to stop Jiang Nian. Mom! Tang Weinian shouted from the window. Wang Lan immediately realized her mistake and tried to stifle her anger. Still, she clung tightly to the bike, unwilling to let go. Jiang Nian, I'm asking you one last time. Will you marry me? If you do, I'll waive the dowry, she asked, her voice low and uncertain. Tang Weinian, red-eyed and teary, looked as innocent as ever. With her pure, angelic face, anyone would feel sorry for her. If this had been the old Jiang Nian, he'd have been captivated instantly. But Jiang Nian's answer was quick and firm, no, I won't marry you. As soon as he said those words, Tang Weinian's tears fell like rain. She looked at him in disbelief, as if she no longer recognized him. You will marry me, whether you want to or not. Wang Lan's anger exploded. You ruined my daughter's life, and now you want to get out of it. No way. No man is getting away from responsibility for what he has done. Jiang Nian was stunned. He glanced at Tang Weinian's belly, realizing what this was. Was she really going to force him into taking responsibility? You can eat whatever you want, but don't speak nonsense. I've never even held your daughter's hand. I'm not taking the blame for this. If you keep making trouble, I'll call the whole neighborhood to come and see. If you don't care about your reputation, I sure don't, Jiang Nian said, his voice cold, as he felt a surge of anger. Tang Weinian, seeing how serious he was, immediately became uneasy. She feared her mother would spill the beans about her pregnancy, which would ruin her reputation forever. Mom, stop. Let him go. I don't want to see him again. Wang Lan wasn't dumb and understood her daughter's intentions. But letting Jiang Nian go without the dowry was out of the question. You can leave, but the door's that way. But if you try to touch my bike, I'll fight you until the death. Seeing Wang Lan causing a scene, Jiang Nian couldn't take it anymore. The more he watched, the more disgusted he became. At that moment, a crowd of villagers had gathered outside, gossiping about the scene. That old woman is shameless, refusing to return the dowry after not marrying her daughter off. This is robbery. I know, right? They've been using their daughter to make money. Poor Jiang Nian's parents worked their whole lives, only to get scammed like this. It's so sad. They borrowed everything they could, and now they are stuck. Jiang Nian clenched his teeth, furious. As the crowd grew, he realized that there was nothing he could do against Wang Lan. Even the village chief couldn't change her mind. This situation would only make them the laughingstock of the village. Just then, the village chief, his face dark with anger, came in. Looking at Wang Lan throwing a tantrum, he sighed in exasperation. Old Wang, if you're not marrying your daughter off, you need to return the dowry. This is someone's hard-earned money. Who says I'm not marrying her off? I'll marry her now, but as for returning the dowry, no way. If he dares to take it, I'll kill myself. Are you out of your mind? Who's out of their mind? If he provides the dowry, I'll marry my daughter. Isn't he that fair? When the village chief heard this, he was speechless. Wang Lan was forcing Jiang Nian to marry her daughter. Dream on. I'll never marry your daughter. If I don't want the dowry, then it's like charity for me. Keep it. Jiang Nian's voice rang out loud and clear. He walked away, leaving the bike behind and not even bothering to glance at Tang Weinian, who was crying inside. The villagers stared, stunned. What? This kid has changed. Wasn't he the one who cried and begged to marry her before? Go away. Go as far as you can. Wang Lan yelled at Jiang Nian's retreating figure, but inwardly, she was burning with frustration. Had he figured out that her daughter was pregnant? Don't worry. The dowry is nothing. With my abilities, I'll easily give Lin Wan a grand wedding. Just wait and see. When Tang Weinian heard these words, her face turned pale, and she subconsciously touched her stomach. Chapter 4, Working is possible. Bar. They aren't even getting married, and they still think they can keep the bride price. No way. I'll go there myself. Just because Wang Lan knows how to throw a tantrum, roll on the ground, and act shamelessly doesn't mean I can't do the same. I don't believe I can't get that bride price back. If she doesn't give it, I'll just sit on their kang and refuse to leave. After hearing Jiang Nian's recount, his mother, Wang Hong, was so furious she was shaking. She stormed off the bed, pulling on her cloth shoes without even lifting the heels, ready to march over and have a showdown with Wang Lan and her daughter. Wang Hong was the kind of person who didn't shy away from trouble, and wasn't he afraid to make a scene. Considering the unpleasantness at the wedding, if she went now, wouldn't it end in a fight? Stop. Don't go. Are you looking for more embarrassment? Jiang Dasan, who had been sitting on the doorstep, knocked his smoking pipe against the doorframe and grumbled, his face clouded with worry. His sudden outburst nearly took Wang Hong's breath away. She gritted her teeth, clearly furious. Pointing a finger at Jiang Dasan's nose, she snapped, "You just care about face. That bride price was something we worked our whole lives to save. We even borrowed from relatives and neighbors. So what, are we supposed to just let it go? Do we let them take it for nothing?" As she spoke, Wang Hong's voice choked, and tears began to fall. She had always been strong and never cried, even when their family was struggling. But she couldn't stand seeing her son being bullied. The Tang family refusing to return the bride price was obviously a move to hold their son hostage and stop him from marrying Lin Wan. Was there anything worse than this? Besides, they had given quite a lot for the bride price at Yongji bicycle worth 180 yuan, 3 new outfits, 2 sets of bedding, and an additional 50 yuan in cash. Altogether, it came to 250 yuan. At that time, a factory worker in the city made only 15-20 yuan a month. 250 yuan was the equivalent of a year's salary for a worker. In the countryside, it would take years to save that much. Jiang's family had practically emptied their pockets for this wedding, even borrowing money from relatives and neighbors. Now, not only was the marriage off, but they couldn't even get the money back. Who could endure that? And at this moment, their son was too meek, and the old man was still worried about saving face. The injustice they felt overwhelmed her. She couldn't hold back the tears as they fell. Lin Wan, who had been quietly standing behind Jiang Nian, felt a pang of sympathy and quickly stepped forward to comfort her. "Aunt, please don't worry. What I love is Jiang Nian, not the bride price. Even without it, I'll marry him." Wang Hong's heart finally softened upon hearing this. "All right, stop crying. Don't embarrass yourself in front of the children," Jiang Dasan said, getting up from the doorstep. He tapped the ash from his pipe and spoke with a more serious tone. "I'm going to talk to the village head. He can't just ignore this. If you go there, you'll end up fighting with them. With your health, if anything happens to you, who do you think will take care of you? Is Lin Wan supposed to wait on you when she hasn't even married into the family yet? With that, Jiang Dasan tucked his pipe into his belt and walked away, his back slightly bent but still moving with purpose. Seeing that her husband was at least taking responsibility, Wan Hong stopped crying. Jiang Nian watched his father slightly hunched back as he left the yard, a feeling of mixed emotions rising within him. He knew that, even with his father's involvement, the bride price was unlikely to be returned. If their village head could solve this, they would have gotten it back already. Looking at his mother's graying hair and his father's bent figure, Jiang Nian felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. He knew that he had to make money, lots and lots of money. But, in truth, Jiang Nian was happy. The bride price didn't matter much to him. What mattered was that his parents and Lin Wan were by his side. Unlike his past life, when he had everything, wealth beyond measure, but no one who truly cared for him. In the end, he had donated all his money, having no one to lean on. Now that he had been given a second chance, he would live this life to the fullest, making sure he had no regrets. Right now, his priority was to make sure his parents and Lin Wan could live a good life. He had to take on the responsibility. Mom, don't worry about the money. I'll figure it out. I swear I'll marry Lin Wan in grand style, and I'll make sure you get a big, fat grandson by next year, Jiang Nian said, taking his mother's hand and making a promise. Jiang Nian wasn't worried about making money. After all, with the memories from his past life, earning money would be easy. For instance, if he remembered correctly, the area behind the village, the Jiapagu, had a gold mine discovered in 2008. If he could dig a little out and sell it secretly, he'd become wealthy in an instant. However, Jiang Nian didn't want to do that. It was too dangerous. If he got caught, he'd end up in jail. Besides, after living through his past life, he had learned that sometimes the risk wasn't worth it. He couldn't afford to throw away everything just for quick money. And what about his parents? What about Lin Wan? How could he make it up to them for giving them a better life? Figure it out. What kind of idea could you possibly have? Money is hard to come by these days. Don't come up with some ridiculous plan. Lin Wan already told me, if you don't have money, she still believes in your character. But if you keep dreaming, she might think you're unreliable, Wan Hong said with a roll of her eyes. Before you came back, Lin Wan already told me that if you're willing, her dad will help you find a proper job in the city. A construction material factory, the post office, take your pick. These are jobs people are desperate to get into. You should really thank Lin Wan for helping you with this. When the topic of work came up, Wan Hong's face lit up with excitement, and she looked at Lin Wan with affection and admiration. In those days, getting into a state-owned factory or the post office wasn't easy. Once you were in, the most basic worker would earn 40 to 50 yuan a month, plus benefits. In the city, any parent whose child worked in one of those places would be bragging for years. How could Wan Hong not be happy that her son had found such a good daughter-in-law? Jiang Nian, however, froze for a moment. He looked at Lin Wan with surprise. He knew her family was well off, her parents were high-ranking officials, but he hadn't expected her to have so much influence. Her father likely had a pretty decent position. But working in a factory? That was out of the question. Jiang Nian was determined to never work for someone else. He knew, from the reform policies starting in 1978, that there was a wave of change sweeping across China. For the next few years, the most important word would be change. The state-run economy was still holding on, but the market economy was charging forward, especially in the southern regions, bringing prosperity. This was Jiang Nian's chance. Mom, let us forget about the job. I have my own plans. I'm thinking of starting a small business, Jiang Nian said with a smile. What? Wan Hong's face turned red as her voice sharply rose. You foolish child. You have a good job waiting for you, and you want to do business. Have you lost your mind? If this were 2 years ago, they'd call it profiteering, and you'd end up in prison. Are you trying to make me die from worry? Hearing this, Lin Wan also grew anxious and quickly spoke up. Yes, Jiang Nian, doing business is tough. You'll have to face the wind, rain, and sun. And no one ever gets rich doing business easily. The policies change all the time. What if they arrest you? Jiang Nian immediately reassured them, the policies don't just change overnight. Even if they do, there will be a gap before it happens. He continued, the South is developing rapidly, especially in the Pearl River Delta. The economy is booming, and people are becoming wealthier. This proves the direction is correct. So the policies can only keep getting better. Wang Hong furrowed her brow, still unconvinced. That's not going to work. I don't think you're cut out for business. You should just take the stable job and live a peaceful life. Mom, how do you know I'm not cut out for it if you don't let me try? Do you think I'm not capable? And even if I fail, I can always go back to working. With Lin Wan's connections, I don't have to worry. Seeing Jiang Nian's calm confidence, Lin Wan's heart fluttered. She glanced at him, feeling like a nervous girl in love. Aunt, why don't we let him give it a try? Whether he goes or not, the job is still there. Well, then you can try. But if it doesn't work, you come straight back and work in the factory. Don't be thinking about these foolish ideas anymore, Wang Hong said, finally relenting. All right, you're the boss. Seeing Jiang Nian's determined expression, Lin Wan couldn't help but wonder, Jiang Nian, you seem to have already figured out what you want to do, haven't you? Chapter 5, starting with potatoes. Still thinking about doing business. Our pockets are as empty as our faces right now. I don't know what you're going to sell. You're really worrying me. Clearly, Wang Hong still didn't have much faith in her son. After all, he came from a farming family, had no education, and didn't even have enough capital to start a business. Could he really make money just based on enthusiasm? She feared it was just a fleeting impulse, and once he hit a dead end, he'd realize his mistake. In this situation, even if the family had money, they wouldn't be able to give it to him to squander. Don't worry, Mom. I've already figured it out. I don't need much capital. We just need potatoes, Jiang Nian said with a smile as he saw his mother sighing. What? Just potatoes? Wang Hong froze, and even Lin Wan, who had been quietly listening, opened her mouth in disbelief. What, you want to sell potatoes? How much money can you make selling potatoes? Jiang Nian, if you have no capital, I still have 32 yuan in my pocket. Take it, and pay me back once you make some money. With that, Lin Wan took out a stack of money and handed it to him. At that moment, she didn't hesitate. Seeing Lin Wan instantly offer her own savings to support him, Jiang Nian felt deeply moved. In his past life, he had worked hard his whole life, but never once did Tang Weinian care for, understand, or support him. She had only ever demanded and exploited him. Now, Lin Wan's simple gesture made his heart stir. He looked at her with more tenderness in his eyes, which made Wang Hong feel a little embarrassed. That's enough, you two. Your mother is still here, and you're exchanging loving glances like that. Her words snapped Jiang Nian back to reality. He quickly took Lin Wan's delicate hand and pushed the money back to her. No need, Mom. I really don't need any capital for this business. All we need is potatoes, and we have plenty of those at home. Really just potatoes? Lin Wan asked, still not quite believing it. Potatoes, being easy to store and with high yields, were common in the north, where many households grew them. Given that food was still a problem for some people, potatoes were among the least valuable items. Could something so common be sold for profit? Mom, go to the cellar and grab a few potatoes. I'll show you how we can make money with them, Jiang Nian said with a mysterious smile, pulling Lin Wan into the kitchen. Wang Hong, still doubtful, went to the cellar, picked out a few potatoes, and handed them to Jiang Nian. She was curious to see what he was up to. Without saying much, Jiang Nian peeled the potatoes, washed them, and cut them into chunks, draining off the water. Heat the oil in the pan. Wang Hong and Lin Wan exchanged looks, unsure of what Jiang Nian was planning to do. Especially Wang Hong, who knew her son all too well. After all these years, he had never once cooked. Now, he was handling the kitchen like a pro, clearly looking like an experienced cook. Was this really her son? When the oil in the pan reached the right temperature, Jiang Nian tossed in the drained potato chunks, frying them until both sides turned golden, then set them aside. He left a little oil in the pan, added minced ginger to saute, then tossed in some dried red chilies to stir fry. Once the oil turned red, he scooped it out, added vinegar, salt, MSG, and mixed everything together. As Jiang Nian stirred the sauce, the rich aroma quickly filled the kitchen. Next, he poured the sauce over the crispy potato chunks and mixed them evenly. A sprinkle of chopped scallions finished it off, and the fragrant, spicy potatoes were placed in front of Wang Hong and Lin Wan, both of whom were completely stunned by the overwhelming scent. "Did you really make this?" Jiang Nian nodded. The potatoes, now drenched in the spicy fragrance, immediately made both women's mouths water. They had eaten potatoes many times before, but never in this style. "It smells amazing." "Jiang Nian, when did you learn to cook?" Lin Wan asked, staring at the dish in shock. "Yeah, when did you become such a good cook?" Wang Hong also couldn't believe it. If she had known her son had such skills, she would have sent him to culinary school years ago. After all, no matter when, chefs always had work. "I've learned quite a bit, actually. I've just been keeping it under wraps." "Don't just stare, try some." Jiang Nian encouraged with a smile. Hearing this, both women, already captivated by the aroma, immediately picked up a piece and popped it into their mouths. Instantly, the spicy and savory flavor spread throughout their mouths, and the crispy on the outside, tender on the inside potatoes tasted absolutely divine. "This is amazing. I didn't know potatoes could taste this good." Lin Wan couldn't help but praise, forgetting all about her image. It really was that good, so good that she wouldn't trade it for meat, even if someone offered. "Jiang Nian, when you said that earlier, I was a bit worried. But now, I'm all for it. This would definitely be a hit in the city. Especially among women, this flavor is irresistible." Hearing Lin Wan's enthusiastic approval, Jiang Nian smiled. This was exactly why he had tailored the recipe to suit women's tastes. After all, men, with families to support, would consider things like cost and purchasing power, and might only buy if they were very wealthy. But women were different. Today, they were standing strong, and as modern women, they had the financial ability to treat themselves. They didn't have to worry about marriage or children and were willing to spend money on themselves. "With your endorsement, this business is bound to succeed," Jiang Nian said confidently. Based on the proportions, 1 kilogram of potatoes could make 5 servings of this dish, and right now, potatoes cost about 2 cents per kilogram. Each serving of spicy potatoes would be sold for 5 cents, meaning each kilogram could yield a profit of 2.3 yuan. This was a huge margin. And he was confident it would sell. After all, this type of snack wouldn't be available for another 20 years, and for now, he would be the only one selling it, so there was no competition. As for future competition, Jiang Nian didn't care. The winds of reform had begun to blow, and history's tides would sweep the land. There would be plenty of changes ahead, and even if he only caught one opportunity, it would be enough to make him a fortune. At this moment, Lin Wan and Wang Hong had already devoured a large plate of the spicy potatoes, still craving more. Even though it was a hot summer day and they were sweating, they couldn't resist wanting another bite. "Lin Wan, you mentioned that women can't resist these spicy potatoes. Since you're from the city, do you know which areas in the county have a lot of women? The best places would be factories or areas with higher income people." Jiang Nian asked. "Well." Lin Wan thought for a moment, then her eyes lit up. "There's actually a place. There's a Red Star garment factory in the county, and most of the workers there are women, plus they earn decent wages." "Perfect, we'll go there," Jiang Nian said decisively, feeling a spark of excitement. In this life, he would start from this simple potato business to build his first pot of gold, and from there, he would reconstruct his business empire. Chapter 6: Take the Initiative. While they were talking, Jiang Dasan came back in the yard angrily. One look at his face told the outcome. With Wang Lan's personality, let alone the village secretary, even if she went to the county town, there might not be any result. Sure enough, after Jiang Dasan entered the house, he helplessly told the situation again. No matter what the village secretary said, Wang Lan was like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water. She said, "Either marry my daughter away, or get out of here quickly. If you dare to touch her gift, she will hit her head against the pillar and die." She cried, made a scene, and threatened to hang herself. The village secretary was helpless. But there was no man in their family. It was said that Tang Weinian's father could not stand her mother Wang Lan's personality and ran away. He never came back after running away. Therefore, there was no place to reason. Harmonious society saved her. Jiang Nian couldn't help but clench his fists. This is too lawless. No, I must get the betrothal gifts back. Mother Wang Hong was furious and trembling with anger. She was about to rush out, but was grabbed by Jiang Nian. Mom, don't go. We don't want the betrothal gifts. Just treat it as a meat bun to beat a dog. Isn't it just a matter of 300 or 500 yuan? I, Jiang Nian, have confidence that I can earn it back in a few days. What? Did you take the wrong medicine, or are you crazy? Hearing Jiang Nian's words, Jiang Dasan widened his eyes, and the big pipe he had just lit also stopped at his mouth. He looked at his son in disbelief. Those betrothal gifts are the savings of your mother and me for most of our lives, and we also borrowed a lot from others. You can earn it back in a few days. How to earn it? To rob. Can you say something practical? Who did you learn all these nonsense from? Looking at his son's big talk, Jiang Dasan raised his leg and kicked him. This kick on the butt, but Jiang Nian laughed very happily. He hadn't experienced such deep love from his father for many years. Jiang Nian hurriedly told his father Jiang Dasan his thoughts again. As expected, his father Jiang Dasan also had the same attitude as his mother Wang Lan. He wasted a lot of time talking, which made his father feel relieved. Rural people have a fixed mindset and don't realize the significance of reform and opening up. They have suffered from the tail of capitalism, so they are inevitably afraid. In fact, most people are like this. They know that going out to do some small business can improve their lives, but they are afraid and dare not take this step, which means there are no competitors. There is a market, but no competitors. If this doesn't make money, it's better to find a piece of tofu and hit it head on. After lunch, Jiang Nian started to prepare. Wash all the potatoes to be used and put them in a wooden barrel. Since potatoes will oxidize, and the spicy potato cubes are freshly made for a good taste, there is no need to peel and cut them. The sauce needs to be prepared in advance. This thing will taste good if it is prepared for a long time. The ingredients and sauce are all ready, and what is missing now is bowls and chopsticks. Normally, spicy potato cubes are sold in oil paper bags, but there is no place to get them now. There are only a few bowls at home, and they are quite worn out. The most important thing is that it is not hygienic if too many people use them. In order to save costs to the greatest extent, Jiang Nian set his sights on corn leaves. Corn leaves do not stick to oil. When the family occasionally steams buns or makes cornmeal pancakes, they will win corn leaves to pad the curtains to prevent sticking. Every year, my mother Wang Hong will hang a lot of corn leaves under the eaves. When it is time to use them, take them down and boil them in a large pot of boiling water. They will open flat and have good toughness. As long as they are slightly spliced and sewn, they are not worse than oil paper bags. In addition, Jiang Nian cut off a lot of thorns from the prickly ash tree, picked some of the right size and put them directly into the box, and used them to tie potato cubes to eat, which is very convenient. After a busy afternoon, everything was finally ready. Everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. With a beautiful vision of the future, Jiang Nian entered his dream. That night, he slept very soundly. He had never slept so soundly in decades in his previous life. The next day, Jiang Nian got up before dawn. He harnessed the mule, loaded all the prepared things, and rushed to the county town. The county town was far away, and it took about 3 hours to drive the car. If he arrived before the Red Star garment factory started working, he might be able to sell a lot. When he was almost at the entrance of the village, Jiang Nian looked into a small courtyard. That was Lin Wan's aunt's house. The courtyard was a little small and a little shabby. The big black dog inside was barking. Soon, the lights in the house were turned on, and Lin Wan ran out excitedly. Without waiting for Jiang Nian to speak, she sat on the car. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Let's go. Why, you're going too? Yes, I want to see if you can do it. Why don't you want to take me with you? Jiang Nian smiled, put the roadblock in his arms, waved the whip, and continued to drive the car. Walking on the country road, breathing the freshest air of nature under the moonlight and starlight, the two talked and laughed, and told each other their hearts. The air was suddenly filled with the smell of happiness. When two people are together, they must be relaxed and happy. This is how Jiang Nian is now, different from his previous life. Thinking about his previous life, he was very obedient to Tang Weining and doted on her, but he could not feel any love from her. It turns out that love requires two people to run to each other, not one-sided efforts of one person. Now, Jiang Nian finally understands this truth. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. The two drove a mule cart and finally arrived at the county town. With Lin Wan following them, it was not difficult to find the Red Star Garment Factory. Soon they arrived at the door of the garment factory and quickly set up the stall. At this time, there were not many people. Now, it has not been long since the reform and opening up, and the economy in the north has been even later, and the wind of the market economy has not blown over, so when seeing the stalls in Jiangnan, most passers-by will look over with curiosity. Jiang Nian was not in a hurry. He quickly made a portion and put it on the table, and began to shout. Spicy potato cubes, delicious spicy potato cubes, don't miss it if you pass by, only 50 cents each. Try before you buy, you won't be cheated, and you won't be cheated. If it doesn't taste good, don't pay. With Jiang Nian's loud shouting, many people gathered around. When everyone smelled the aroma of spicy potato cubes on the car, they couldn't help swallowing, but no one took the initiative to ask to buy. Seeing this, Jiang Nian decided to take the initiative and handed a piece of spicy potato cubes to a fat aunt. She had big perms and wore a floral dress. At first glance, she had a certain purchasing power. Beauty, try it, it will definitely shock your taste buds. If it doesn't taste good, you don't have to pay. The aunt was slightly startled, and then she was immediately delighted. Seeing Jiang Nian's delicate skin, red lips and white teeth, and a very strong body, her face couldn't help but blush. Under Jiang Nian's cordial invitation, she swallowed the spicy potato cubes into her mouth. Woo, delicious! She widened her eyes in an instant, and then asked excitedly, "What is this? Give me 2 servings." "Oh no, 5 servings." "No problem, I'll make it for you right away, please wait." Jiang Nian smiled, and didn't care about the expressions of others, and quickly made it. "Is it so delicious?" "Who knows, try it." "This. Give me 1 serving." "I want 2 servings." Chapter 7 She has a man. With the fat aunt's bold attempt, others also became bolder. After tasting, they all paid to buy, which made Jiang Nian very busy. Fortunately, Lin Wan followed him, otherwise he would be too busy. This popularity lasted for an hour until the last minute of working hours, and everyone dispersed. Looking at the few potatoes left in his car, Jiang Nian showed a satisfied smile. "I thought it would be popular, but I didn't expect it to be so popular. I can close the stall early today." On the mule cart, Lin Wan was still counting the money, and the smile on his face was hard to hide. It was hard to imagine that so much money was sold in just one morning. "No need to count, I made a total of 120 copies, 5 of which were given away for free, which means that 115 copies were sold normally, 50 cents per copy, and a total of 57.5 yuan should be sold." Hearing Jiang Nian's words, Lin Wan suddenly widened his eyes and looked at the money in his hand. It was a bit unbelievable. What Jiang Nian said was not wrong at all. It was not only because she made so much money, but also because Jiang Nian was so busy that he could still keep a clear mind. He was simply a genius in business. Now she finally believed that Jiang Nian could earn back the betrothal money within a few days. When she thought of the scene of Jiang Nian earning enough betrothal money, coming to propose marriage, and marrying her, her heart was surging, her face was as red as a red apple, and she couldn't help but stand up and hug Jiang Nian's neck and kiss him on the face. Jiang Nian was a little dazed, and when he looked up, he saw Lin Wan's affectionate eyes. When he met Jiang Nian's eyes, he immediately lowered his head shyly, his face flushed, and he said in a mosquito-like voice, "Jiang Nian, can you marry me earlier?" She was slightly startled. Then, Jiang Nian took it into his arms and answered solemnly, "When I earn enough for the betrothal gift, I will go to your house to propose marriage immediately. Don't worry, with today's popularity, I will be able to earn the betrothal gift in a few days. By then, you will have no choice but to marry me." Jiang Nian was very confident. You know, potatoes consume about 24 kilograms, and 1 kilogram of potatoes costs 20 cents, which is 4.8 yuan. The oil, salt and sauce together cost less than 2 yuan, which means that the net profit this morning is 50 yuan. Besides, most of the materials are from his own home, and in fact the cost is even lower. According to the popularity of spicy potato cubes today, at least several dozen points a day are needed to meet the needs of the workers. Moreover, this is the first day and it has only been sold for one morning. Tomorrow, his spicy potato cubes will spread in the Red Star garment factory and will definitely be more popular than today. So, Jiang Nian plans to make twice as much tomorrow. The betrothal gift of 500 yuan will last at most 10 days. Go home now. Lin Wan, whose face was full of happiness, asked affectionately after receiving Jiang Nian's promise. Jiang Nian smiled slightly and shook his head. It's still early. I have to take you to have a good meal after selling so much money. By the way, I have to buy some firewood, rice, oil and salt. You can see that I have almost spent all the materials at home. Buying firewood, rice, oil and salt is fine, but forget about eating. It costs a lot of money to eat in a restaurant in the county. With that money, we might as well buy some meat to make dumplings and improve the meals for uncle and aunt. Lin Wan suggested with a smile. You are still thoughtful. Okay, then I will listen to you. After the discussion, Jiang Nian drove the car and the two went to the supply and marketing cooperative in the county. The county is not very prosperous nowadays. There are low bungalows on both sides of the street. The road is bumpy. It is dusty when it doesn't rain, and muddy when it rains. To put it bluntly, except for a prosperous street in the central area, other places are similar to rural areas. In the county town, the most crowded place is the supply and marketing cooperative. There are many people coming and going, many bicycles parked at the door, and several young and fashionable men and women playing passionate and heroic songs and dancing disco in the supply and marketing cooperative. The supply and marketing cooperative was crowded with people. Jiang Nian finally squeezed in. After asking the salesperson about the price, he bought some oil and salt, a piece of meat, and walked out excitedly. But as soon as he walked out of the door, he was stunned. In front of the mule cart, a man wearing jeans, a white shirt, and a big oily hair combed shiny stared at Lin Wan, smiling very obscenely, and kept chatting with her, which made Lin Wan annoyed. Several young men and women who had been dancing before also followed and made a fuss. No wonder. Lin Wan is very beautiful, with delicate and beautiful features, shining eyes, a melon seed face, slightly messy hair, and a cherry mouth, which is very tempting. If I hadn't been blind in my previous life, how could I have fallen in love with Tang Weinying and ignored such a beautiful Lin Wan? However, things don't seem to be as simple as Jiang Nian thought. Lin Wan, I didn't expect it was really you. You look pretty good in this outfit, and you have a unique flavor. If I hadn't looked carefully, I wouldn't have recognized it as you. The man dragged his chin, looking up and down with his eyes shining. Please go away, I don't know you. Lin Wan's face was dark, and she obviously didn't like the man in front of her. She twisted her neck and didn't even look at him. What you said hurts my heart. We almost got married. Do you have to be so heartless? I don't know if you have a boyfriend now. If not, I think you can reconsider me. After all, we are a good match, right? Looking at the guy with a smirk in front of her, Lin Wan looked disgusted. His name is Wang Hao. Although his parents are high-ranking intellectuals, his moral character is not very good. Relying on his family background, he has been lawless in the county for the past 2 years. A man like this, she wants her to marry him? Don't even think about it. Sorry, she has a man. Just when Lin Wan was at a loss, Jiang Nian came over, put the things he bought on the mule cart, and under Wang Hao's gaze, he held Lin Wan's hand and directly declared his sovereignty to Wang Hao. Seeing this scene, Wang Hao didn't recover for a long time, his face turned pale, and he looked up and down at Jiang Nian's clothes. He was definitely a peasant. How could he have the courage to stand in front of him? Hey, Lin Wan, you are not, you said you would never marry me, and then you found such a bastard. He is a peasant, right? Can he give you a happy life? Wang Hao sneered. That's right, I'm just a peasant, but she would rather be with me than marry you. You should reflect on this. Jiang Nian smiled faintly, sat on the car, smiled triumphantly at Wang Hao, and drove away. This made Wang Hao's face flushed with anger, and he couldn't speak for a long time. He felt worse than eating dog shit. On the mule cart, seeing Jiang Nian calm and composed, Lin Wan couldn't smile. Her eyebrows were about to be twisted into a hemp rope. After hesitating for a long time, she said worriedly, Jiang Nian, you shouldn't have been so angry with him just now. He is lawless. If you provoke him, he will cause trouble for you. Chapter 8 Young and already living off others. Jiang Nian glanced at Lin Wan and smiled slightly. He knew Wang Hao. His parents were both from the Industrial and Commercial Bureau. In his previous life, he had dealt with his parents a lot because of his business. Lin Wan used lawless to describe Wang Hao, but it was not quite appropriate now, because he was not at that level at this time. In another 10 years, he would be lawless, proficient in eating, drinking, whoring and gambling. Because of his special family background, no one dared to touch him, which made him even more unscrupulous in the future. Once he drove drunk and killed someone. When facing the media and reporters, he had no intention of repenting and shouted loudly, "My father is Wang Gang." Not only did he suffer from the punishment, but also sent his parents to prison. There was a word called pit dad on the internet in his previous life, which described him like this. When Jiang Nian and Lin Wan returned to the village, it was almost noon and the sun was scorching. Although it was the busy farming season, it was hot at noon. The villagers who had worked on the farm for the whole morning sat under the big willow tree on the street and chatted as usual. Everyone was talking about the gossips of the Dong and Li families. The hottest topic recently was undoubtedly the monopoly of Jiang Nian's betrothal gift by Tang Weinian's family. This old woman Wang is really a piece of shit. If the girl doesn't want to marry him, why doesn't she return the betrothal gift? It's because brother Jiang is kind. If it were me, I would beat the shit out of them. Not returning the betrothal gift is indeed unreasonable. Whose money comes from the wind? The Jiang couple has lost all their life savings, and they still owe a lot of money to starve. The days ahead will be difficult. Only the silly girl Lin Wan is willing to be with Jiang Nian. You say she is a city girl, can she endure such hardship? It won't take a few days for her to turn yellow. I don't care whether she turns yellow or not. Their family borrowed 10 yuan from me. I have to get the money back quickly. My family is almost broke. Second aunt rolled her eyes, threw the peeled scallion skin on the ground, and was about to get up to ask for the money. You are not allowed to go. Big brother's family is in trouble now. I am his brother, and I cannot add insult to injury. Big brother is kind, don't worry, you won't lose the money. Seeing his wife stand up, Jiang Dahai, who had been silent, shouted in a deep voice. This made second aunt Wei Shuzhen furious, but seeing Jiang Dahai's eyes, she was embarrassed to quarrel with him in front of so many people, so she could only sit back reluctantly and continue to peel onions, muttering in her mouth. You are so noble, you care about brotherly love, you have to support your big brother even if you can't afford to eat at home, who knows if he can eat fish and meat at home, and drink as much as he wants. I also know that big brother is kind, but he has to pay you back with money. Now you don't let me go to ask for the money, I'll see when you can get the money back. Jiang Dahai heard this, smoking a cigarette, with a bitter face and didn't say anything. Jiang Dahai knew that what his wife said was true. Money is saved penny by penny. Farmers work hard all year and have nothing left. It takes at least 2 years to save 10 yuan. In order to get his son married, Jiang Dasan also borrowed money from neighbors. Even if he was a little relieved, he had to rely on his neighbors. When he thought of this, he was worried about his elder brother and his wife. The couple was getting older and older, and their health was getting worse. Jiang Nian was an ignorant boy who didn't work and was idle all day. What should he do if this continued? Jiang Dahai took 2 puffs of his cigarette and made up his mind that he had to have a good talk with his nephew no matter what. Isn't that Jiang Nian and Lin Wan? There are a lot of things on the car. Are they going into the city? Jiang Dahai was thinking about how to persuade his nephew when he saw Jiang Nian driving a donkey cart and talking and laughing with Lin Wan on the cart, behaving intimately. There were vegetables, meat, eggs, and even biscuits and jujube flour cakes on the donkey cart. What did I say? You feel sorry for your brother. Your brother lives a good life. Look at this cart of things. There are fish, meat, and eggs. Who in the village can live such a life? These things are probably worth more than 10 yuan. Aunt Wei Shuzhen glared at Jiang Dahai fiercely and said unhappily, if you stop me from asking for money again, I will be angry with you. This made Jiang Dahai speechless. The surrounding villagers, some gloating over the misfortune, and some who lent money to Jiang Dasan, echoed the call to get the money back. Aunt Wei Shuzhen showed a fake smile, stood up and said, Jiang Nian, are you going to the county? Buying so many things. TSK TSK TSK. Yes, aunt. Jiang Nian responded. Seeing his Aunt Wei Shuzhen circling around the donkey cart, Jiang Nian simply stopped the cart and took out 2 bags from the cart, which contained a piece of pork belly and 2 fish. Just right, auntie, I brought it for you and second uncle. For us. Wei Shuzhen was slightly startled, and was about to say something bad, but her expression changed 180 degrees, and she took the things with a smile. Xiao Nian is really thoughtful, then auntie will not be polite. At this time, second uncle Jiang Dahai also came forward, with a gloomy face, and asked, Jiang Nian, where did you get the money to buy these things? What are your parents like? They have been starving to death in order to get you married. I'm not saying that you are getting older and older. Can they bear your eating like this? Second Aunt Wei Shuzhen took the opportunity and said quickly, Yes, Xiao Nian, in order to prepare for your wedding with Tang Weinian, your parents borrowed 10 yuan from our family. You should be more careful. Auntie's words were full of meaning, how could Jiang Nian not hear it? Hey, auntie, I borrowed 10 yuan from your family. I remember this. Here, I was going to give it to you after I got home. While speaking, Jiang Nian took out a 10 yuan bill and handed it to his Auntie Wei Shuzhen. Ouch! Auntie Wei Shuzhen shouted excitedly, wiped her hands on her body, borrowed the money, looked left and right, and then carefully put the money into her underwear pocket. Someone was curious and asked, Jiang Nian, where did you get this money? I earned it from doing business. Jiang Nian responded, and paid back a few people's money. He drove the donkey cart and went straight to the direction of home. Everyone was even more surprised. Doing business? Are you kidding? He can do business. No one believed this at all. Most people thought that it was Lin Wanhua's money, and Jiang Nian became a gigolo and lived a soft life at a young age. The discussion fell into Jiang Nian's ears, but he did not explain. Rumors do not need to be taken seriously. Just live your own life and don't care what others say. When he returned home, it was noon and his parents were there. Seeing the things in Jiang Nian and Lin Guan's hands, Mother Wang Hong's eyes widened, buying so many things, did you really make money? When Jiang Nian left in the morning, he did not bring a penny. He brought back so many things, including meat, fish, and eggs. Seeing these things, her eyes widened. It was rare for the villagers to eat meat, let alone fish. The slightly richer families could eat it during the New Year and festivals, but those with poor family conditions could forget about it. There has been no meat in the house for half a year. It's greedy just to see it. Chapter 9 Dare to bully my woman, you're dead. Mother Wang Hong did not expect that her son could make so much money for the first time he went out to do business. She smiled from ear to ear and hurried forward to help clean up and store. Jiang Dasan, who was standing by, was also very pleased, and finally put down his worries. He was afraid that his son would be short-lived or would encounter some setbacks and stop doing business. Uncle, Aunt, Jiang Nian is really good at doing business. We only sold for one morning, and there were endless buyers. We sold a total of 57.5 yuan, which is equivalent to a month's salary for a skilled worker in a garment factory. Lin Guan happily took Jiang Nian's arm, with a pair of eyes shining, and happily introduced today's results. Really? Jiang Dashan's eyes widened. My goodness, earning so much, there is hope for the future. Wang Hong stopped her work and looked at Jiang Nian in astonishment. Mom, this is nothing. I will make more in the future. I promise to let you eat delicious food and drink spicy drinks in the future. Jiang Nian took out the meat and put it on the chopping board. Tonight, let's make dumplings. Okay. Wang Hong smiled from ear to ear. Old man, our son has made progress. In order to celebrate the success of our son's first day of setting up a stall, we will not only make dumplings tonight, but also cook a few more dishes. Lin Wan, go and pick up your aunt, let's have fun together. Mother Wang Hong urged. She wanted to take this opportunity to talk to Lin Wan's aunt about the marriage of the two families. After all, Lin Wan's parents are from the city, and there is only one elder-like aunt in the village. It would be good for the two families to sit together and chat, and it would be good to test the waters. Okay, aunt, then I will come back to help you later. Lin Wan didn't think much about it, and walked happily out of the yard. Lin Wan's heart was warm and sunny, and the feeling was like bathing in the sun. It was an indescribable feeling. This was happiness. Jiang Nian, your dad and I will make dumplings. You are a good cook, so you can cook. When Lin Wan's aunt comes, you must perform well and leave a good impression on her so that she can say good things about you in front of Lin Wan's parents. Lin Wan's parents are high-ranking officials and well-educated. Our Jiang family will never be able to get close to them in several lifetimes. You are lucky. Mother Wang Hong is still a little conservative. She gave Jiang Nian many instructions, fearing that Jiang Nian would say something wrong and the marriage would fail. I know, Mom. Jiang Nian agreed with a smile. After a busy afternoon, all the dishes were finally prepared and put on the table. The dishes were all home-cooked dishes, but there were fish, meat and dumplings. Such a meal would not be considered a big deal in an ordinary family in the previous life, but this was in 1983, when everyone was tightening their belts in the early days of reform. This table of food might not be available during festivals. Lin Wan has been gone for so long, why hasn't she come back yet? Mother Wang Hong was a little puzzled. Jiang Nian, stop working, leave the rest of the work to me and your mother, go and check it out quickly, the food will get cold if you leave it any longer. Jiang Nian nodded and left the house. When Jiang Nian arrived at Lin Wan's aunt's house, he was stunned by the scene in front of him. As soon as he walked to the door, he heard crying in the house, and Lin Wan's comforting voice. Worried that something happened to Lin Wan, Jiang Nian pushed the wooden door open. What came into view was a messy room. The table was overturned on the ground, the items on it were scattered all over the ground, the glass mirror hanging on the wall was broken, glass shards were everywhere, and the cabinets were also in a mess. Lin Wan's aunt sat on the edge of the kang and cried, her face was pale, and she was obviously scared. Lin Wan, who comforted her aunt, also trembled slightly, and her expression was heartbroken and desperate. The sound of Jiang Nian pushing the door startled the two of them. They shuddered all over, and only after seeing Jiang Nian did they calm down. Jiang Nian didn't know what happened, but it was obviously very serious. Lin Wan must have been wronged. When Jiang Nian walked to Lin Wan couldn't hold back any longer and threw herself into Jiang Nian's arms, crying loudly. Then, Jiang Nian looked at Lin Qinghua, who was a little more stable, and asked, Auntie, what happened? Lin Qinghua rolled her eyes and was about to say something, but Lin Wan grabbed her hand and shook her head to signal her. Lin Wan's meaning was very clear. What kind of person is Jiang Nian? If he knew what happened, wouldn't he make a scene? However, Lin Qinghua didn't care about it and said unhappily, it's because of you? You still have the nerve to ask here. Jiang Nian already had a rough guess in his mind. This matter must be related to Tang Weining and her daughter. His face was a little gloomy and he said, Auntie, who is this bastard? I'm not done with him. Who else can it be? Yang Wei. Yang Wei. Jiang Nian frowned, a little surprised. Hearing this name, Jiang Nian immediately thought of a guy with pointed ears and monkey cheeks. This guy was from the 5th production team. He used to love to run to their production team whenever he had something to do, and he was trying to find Lin Wan to date. Why did he smash this place? Didn't he hear that Xiao Wan was dating you? What does it have to do with him? Jiang Nian was a little angry. What's the matter? You know he's pursuing Xiao Wan. Now Xiao Wan is dating you, how can he not be angry? That bastard didn't dare to fight you, so he came to me to make trouble. Lin Qinghua continued, Yang Wei said that Lin Wan is not allowed to date you. If you continue to be with you, he will come again when he gets the chance. Jiang Nian was furious when he heard it, this shameless guy, I think he deserves a beating. Who Lin Wan dates is up to him. If I don't beat him up today, I won't be called Jiang Nian. Jiang Nian was furious and wanted to go to the 5th Brigade to settle accounts with Yang Wei immediately. Lin Wan knew it was bad when he saw this. Jiang Nian was a young man who couldn't stop him when he got angry. If he really went there today, he would not give up until he made a scene. Thinking of this, she rushed out and shouted, Jiang Nian, come back, don't make a mess. Jiang Nian left the hospital without looking back. Lin Wan wanted to chase him, but was stopped by Lin Qinghua who chased him out. She refused to let go no matter what, which made Lin Wan anxious. Aunt, let go. Jiang Nian's temper will make things worse. Let's make a big mess. People have bullied you. If he can't protect you, what kind of man is he? If he doesn't stand up for you, he is a cuckold. Such a man is not worthy of marrying. Oh, aunt, don't think the mess is too big. What if someone dies? As she said, she shook off Lin Xinghua's obstruction and hurriedly chased out. From Jiang Nian's reaction after he knew what happened, she had already concluded that Jiang Nian had her in his heart and was a man worth entrusting. What kind of cuckold is a cuckold? She doesn't care, she just wants Jiang Nian to be fine. Chapter 10, Beat Up Yang Wei. In the 5th Production Brigade, at Yang Wei's home, Yang Wei was drinking with his cousin. Yang Wei's parents were old when they had a son. Now he is 30 years old, but his parents have passed away. He has not found a wife and is still single. One person can feed the whole family. He likes to find two people who are close to him to sit together and drink. At this time, there was a plate of peanuts on the table. The two drank very enthusiastically. After 3 or 2 glasses of wine, they were all red-faced and boasted. "Brother, you are really good. You smashed Lin Xinghua's house just like that. His brother is a high-ranking official in the city. Aren't you afraid of retaliation?" "What the hell?" Yang Wei looked disdainful. "A powerful dragon can't defeat a local snake. How can he bring people to deal with me? Besides, it's precisely because he is a high-ranking official that he dares not do that. If he really does that, it would be a disciplinary violation. Then you have to be careful. Even if Lin Wan's parents won't touch you, you have to be careful of Jiang Nian, that bastard. He doesn't want to suffer, master. If he knows, he won't come to fight you to death." When he heard Jiang Nian's name, Yang Wei laughed disdainfully. What kind of person is Jiang Nian? Isn't he just good looking? What's the use? If you ask me, he is a waste. He can't even handle Tang Weining. I really don't know what Lin Wan likes about him. Don't worry, with me here, they can't succeed. Lin Wan can only be mine. Yang Wei vowed, raised a bowl of wine, drank it in one gulp, and was about to continue to pretend with the help of the alcohol, when he suddenly heard a bang. Then, the wooden door was kicked open from the outside. A tall figure with an angry face appeared at the door. Jiang Nian. When the guilty Yang Wei saw Jiang Nian's angry eyes, the bowl in his hand fell with a bang, and Yang Ermarzi, who was drinking with him, also shuddered subconsciously. "Jiang Nian, what are you doing? If you have anything to say, sit down and talk. Get out of the way." Jiang Nian glared at Yang Ermarzi fiercely, pointed at his nose, and warned him, "You have nothing to do here, don't get in my way, otherwise I will take care of you too." These 2 sentences instantly frightened Yang Ermarzi so much that he rolled down and ran out. Who in Mentugu doesn't know that Jiang Nian is a fool? There is no reason to talk to this kid. He is strong, and his actions are ruthless. The key is that he holds grudges. You have to deal with him openly and secretly. Once you provoke him, he will show no mercy. The whole Mentugu obeys Tang Weining's words like a dog. Others, even the village chief, don't give face. Yang Wei looked at Jiang Nian with his eyes wide open, and swallowed his saliva subconsciously, but when he thought that the girl he pursued was actually taken by this guy who only knew how to talk sweetly, his eyes suddenly turned red. The anger in his heart overwhelmed his reason. He smashed the bowl with a bang and then yelled at Jiang Nian, "Jiang, what do you want? Don't think I'm afraid of you." At this time, Jiang Nian was full of anger in his heart. Hearing that this kid was still so arrogant, he was immediately angry. He was not in the mood to talk nonsense. He stepped forward and punched Yang Wei in the face. A tooth flew out with blood foam. Then he kicked him in the stomach. The severe pain made Yang Wei unbearable. He covered his stomach and had no strength to fight back. "Damn it, you bully my woman, you are looking for death." Pressing Yang Wei on the earthen kang, Jiang Nian punched him in the flesh, and didn't care where he was. Yang Wei covered his head and screamed loudly, like a pig being slaughtered. The huge commotion soon attracted nearby villagers. They rushed into the room and saw this situation. They didn't care what happened and stepped forward to stop the fight. It took a while to pull Jiang Nian off Yang Wei. At this time, Yang Wei was beaten black and blue, and the wine on the table was all over his body. There was a peanut in one nostril and a green onion in the other nostril. He was as embarrassed as he could be. At this time, several villagers who pulled Jiang Nian away so that Jiang Nian was still angry and couldn't stop him. They scolded him. Jiang Nian, are you crazy? Why can't you talk it out? Why do you have to hit people? That's right. If you hit people again, we'll go find your parents. You must give an explanation for this matter. It's fine that you act lawless in the 3rd Brigade, but you come to our 5th Brigade to beat people. That's too much. However, Jiang Nian didn't give any face at all. His eyes were fierce. He swept coldly over several people and said, "Whoever you want to find, even if the King of Heaven comes today, I will beat the yoke out of him." As he said that, Jiang Nian suddenly exerted force and broke away from several people in an instant. He pressed Yang Wei to the ground again and punched him. Several villagers were stunned. They stepped forward to pull Jiang Nian again, but they couldn't stop him. They had heard before that Jiang Nian was very strong since he was a child. They didn't expect this to be true. However, they couldn't ignore it. If they really ignored it, Yang Wei would be beaten to death today. Seeing Jiang Nian's attack getting heavier and heavier, like a madman, Yang Wei's calves were cramping. He covered his head and still insisted on being tough. "Fuck you, Jiang Nian, if you don't kill me today, I'll kill you later." As soon as he said this, several villagers who were holding Jiang Nian couldn't help cursing in their hearts. "Fuck you, you're almost beaten to shit, why are you still being tough?" Hearing Yang Wei's harsh words, Jiang Nian became even more angry. He grabbed his hair and slapped him several times in a row, making Yang Wei's eyes full of stars. "Okay, you're still tough. If you really have guts, you wouldn't go and bully a woman. You can just come to me. Dare to bully my woman, I'll beat you so hard that your mother won't recognize you." At this time, the noise was getting louder and louder. People were standing inside and outside the house. Most of them were watching the excitement, looking like they had nothing to do with it. At this time, Lin Guan hurried over with Jiang Dashan and the village secretary. After seeing the situation in the house, Jiang Dashan's face was as gloomy as a purple eggplant. He kicked Jiang Nian on the butt and said, "You bastard, stop it." Jiang Nian saw that his old father had come and Yang Wei had been beaten into a pig's head by him. At this time, his anger had subsided by half, so he just let go. "Secretary, you are here, you have to make the decision for me. Look, this is what I beat." Ouch. Yang Wei covered his face and immediately came to complain. The village secretary saw this, took a look at the scene, then stared at Jiang Nian and asked, "Jiang Nian, did you beat him?" "Yes." Jiang Nian clapped his hands and admitted it very straightforwardly. "Why did you beat him, and beat him like this? Are you having the same old problem again?" The village secretary said with a gloomy face. "Why don't I beat him to death?" Jiang Nian was not weak at all. He pointed at Yang Wei's nose, "Ask him what he did today and see if I should beat him." "Yang Wei, tell me." Chapter 11. You deserve it. When Yang Wei heard what the village secretary said, his expression suddenly became awkward, and he hesitated to say anything. In this situation, who can't see that Yang Wei is guilty? No wonder Jiang Nian wanted to beat him no matter what he said. "Hurry up and tell me. If you don't, I won't care about this matter, and it will be in vain," the village secretary asked with a cold face. On the way, Lin Guan told him what happened. This was asking knowingly. If he said it, Jiang Nian deserved to beat him to death. But now is not the time to be casual. As the village secretary, he must be fair. If this matter is not handled well, it will easily cause criticism from the villagers. But if he doesn't deal with Yang Wei, he will not be safe as the village secretary. After all, Lin Guan's parents have special identities. Although Lin Guan is reasonable and won't tell anyone about it, her aunt Lin Qinghua knows about it. Who is Lin Qinghua? She feels wronged when she suffers the slightest loss. How can she bear this? Don't dare to say it? Coward. Jiang Nian glared at Yang Wei fiercely. He ran to Aunt Lin Guan's house and smashed it to pieces. He also threatened that if Lin Guan continued to be with me, he would smash it again. Tell me if he deserves a beating. What a shameless thing. Lin Guan is dating Jiang Nian. What does it have to do with you? You smashed someone's house to pieces. You deserve to be beaten into a pig's head. If it were me, I would beat him too. He is so shameless. If you have the ability, chase her. If you can't catch her, you make trouble for her. What's the matter? After listening to Jiang Nian's story, several more upright villagers looked at Yang Wei with different eyes and accused him. Several girls in the village looked at Yang Wei with contempt and accused Yang Wei, saying that he was not a man. The villagers talked to each other, and Yang Wei blushed and lost his mind. He pointed at Jiang Nian and shouted, "I'm just angry. I've been chasing her for so long, but she didn't even look at me. Why can you get close to her heart? Don't you just have a pretty face? What's the matter? She won't be with me, and she can't be with you. What I can't get, I will destroy with my own hands." Before he finished speaking, Jiang Nian stepped forward and kicked him. The weight of this kick instantly made Yang Wei hunch over, holding his stomach and unable to speak for a long time. When he fell to the ground, Jiang Nian spit on him viciously and said, "If you can't get it, destroy it. I will destroy it first, believe it or not." At this time, the villagers watching didn't care about him. How can there be such a shameless person who destroys what he can't get? How twisted is his mind? If you have the ability, compete fairly with Jiang Nian. At worst, if you are not convinced, you can challenge Jiang Nian to a duel. What kind of ability is it to bully a girl? This shameless bastard deserves to be beaten. No man with blood can tolerate this. Then, Jiang Nian turned to look at the village secretary and said seriously, "Secretary, this is the matter," and he admitted it himself. "Lin Wan and I are dating. It is a matter between the two of us. We are willing, and it is not the turn of others to point fingers. I will put it here today. If anyone dares to do anything out of line or gossip about Lin Wan again, I will break his legs." When Jiang Nian's sharp eye swept over everyone, they all felt their hair stand on end and cold sweats were about to flow out. After saying that, he didn't care about other people's eyes, took Lin Wan's hand, squeezed through the crowd, and left the house in full view of everyone. After beating someone, if you still stay here, aren't you waiting for others to take the blame? Jiang Nian is not that stupid. Lin Wan was stunned by Jiang Nian's performance. Jiang Nian showed a strong love for her, which surprised and delighted her. This kind of thing would only happen to Tang Weinian before, which made her feel a little unrealistic. At this moment, she felt like a princess, and Jiang Nian was the Prince Charming who held her in his arms, dared to charge into the battle, and sacrificed for him. She was immersed in this kind of happiness and joy, so that a big blush of happiness appeared on her face, and she couldn't help wanting to get into Jiang Nian's arms. "Secretary, you have to make a decision for me. He beat me like this, and he can't let him go." Seeing Jiang Nian leave, still holding Lin Wan's hand, Yang Wei suddenly became anxious and shouted at the village secretary. "Be the boss? What boss? You deserve to be beaten. If you do such shameless things again, I will not come even if I am invited. Let him beat you to death." The village secretary glared at him fiercely, his eyes full of disgust and contempt. He didn't have the ability to get the girl's trust, so he hit her. How can there be such a shameless thing in our village? The village secretary was too lazy to look at him, and turned his head to scan the villagers. Okay, everyone stop watching the fun, and go back to your own homes to work." Then he said to Jiang Dasan, "Brother Jiang, you have to talk to Jiang Nian when you go back. No matter how reasonable you are, you can't be so harsh. Look at how he was beaten. Today's matter ends here. If there is a next time, I will call the police to arrest him. Thank you for your trouble, the village secretary. I will definitely teach him a lesson when I go back." Jiang Dasan nodded repeatedly with a gloomy face. Tang Weinian couldn't believe it when she heard that Jiang Nian went to his 5th Brigade and beat Yang Wei. Did he really go there and beat him? How could this be false? He was beaten black and blue. If no one had stopped him, Yang Wei would have been beaten to death. Wang Lan said loudly, picking up a potato from her bowl. Hearing this, Tang Weinian suddenly felt that the potato in her bowl was not fragrant, and a feeling of loss arose spontaneously. It seems that he really doesn't like me anymore. He used to do this for me. Tang Weinian sighed. She remembered that last year, Urwazi from the 2nd Brigade said that he saw her sneaking into the cornfield with someone and told Jiang Nian about it. Jiang Nian almost beat Urwazi to death. For this reason, the two good friends who had played together since childhood broke up. When she thought of Jiang Nian becoming someone else's flower protector, she lost her appetite even more. She sighed and put down her chopsticks in a sullen mood. What's the use of just sighing? If you want to win back Jiang Nian's heart, you have to use some tricks. Seeing her daughter's sad face, Wang Lan glanced at her and said. Tang Weinian obviously heard the hidden meaning in her mother's words. Tricks? What tricks? Stupid. Wang Lan rolled her eyes at Tang Weinian. What is the greatest asset of us women? Of course, it's beauty. Jiang Nian has been obsessed with you for so long. If you find him and give yourself to him, do you think he will be moved? Is this okay? Tang Weinian suddenly felt her scalp tingling, and she was obviously a little resistant. What's wrong? Are you embarrassed? Wang Lan was furious when she saw Tang Weinian's shy look. If you were really embarrassed, would you get pregnant with someone else? I tell you, I've pointed out the way ahead for you. It's up to you whether to go or not. I have to remind you that your brother and your father will be back from work at the end of the year. If you get pregnant and can't tell what's going on, I can't guarantee what your father's temper will do. Hearing her father, Tang Weinian shuddered and nodded while biting her lip. Chapter 12. Want to give yourself to me? After sending Lin Wan back to her aunt's house, Jiang Nian helped clean up the house, and then took the two of them home for dinner. With Aunt Lin Wan there, she didn't say much about Jiang Nian's beating up Yang Wei today, and after this incident, Lin Qinghua seemed very satisfied with Jiang Nian and kept saying good things to him. It was not until after 7 o'clock in the evening that Jiang Nian sent the two of them back to their residence. It was just getting dark at this time, and Jiang Nian was thinking about going back to prepare the materials for the stall tomorrow. However, not far from Lin Wan's residence, he saw Tang Weinian looking forward to it under the big willow tree on the roadside. She was dressed particularly beautifully today. She was wearing a white dress, 2 ponytails, rubbing the ends of the braids with both hands, looking at her with eyes and eyebrows, full of affection. Putting aside the matter, Tang Weinian was indeed beautiful. In the whole village, except for Lin Wan, no one could compare with her. In terms of temperament, she is like a beautiful college student who just walked out of the campus. The word pure is the most appropriate to describe her. This white long skirt, with lace embroidered on the collar, looks more elegant. Jiang Nian ran to the county town and bought it for her on her birthday last year with the money he saved for 2 months. If it was before, seeing such a beautiful Tang Weinian, Jiang Nian would definitely not be able to control himself and run over happily. However, when Jiang Nian saw it now, he just felt nauseous. He didn't even raise his eyes, intending to pretend that he didn't see it, and walked over calmly. As long as she didn't provoke him, he didn't want to have any intersection with her in this life. Seeing that Jiang Nian didn't even look at her, Tang Wan's face was a little embarrassed. When she thought of Jiang Nian's kindness to her in the past, and compared it with his indifference to her now, she felt inexplicably uncomfortable, and tears of grievance kept coming out of her eyes. Now think of Jiang Nian, and then think of the irresponsible man who got her pregnant. Jiang Nian is 100 good. And such a good man, is he really not going to belong to her? Jiang Nian. Didn't you see me? Seeing Jiang Nian walking by her, she stamped her feet in anger and shouted in grievance. I didn't see it. Jiang Nian didn't even turn his head. This answer was so straightforward that Tang Weinian didn't expect it. Seeing Jiang Nian didn't stop, she immediately chased him. Jiang Nian, stop for a moment, I have something to say to you. No time. Seeing Tang Weinian catch up, Jiang Nian frowned, feeling a little unhappy. He didn't want to give her a chance, so he quickened his pace. Unexpectedly, at this time, Tang Weinian suddenly hugged Jiang Nian's waist from behind, with her face pressed tightly against Jiang Nian's back. Even though Jiang Nian had a resistance to her, this sudden change caught him off guard. He was full of blood, and it was inevitable that his blood would spray when he was hugged by a beautiful woman, and his body would unconsciously stand up. However, Jiang Nian did not lose his mind. He could not do anything to let Lin Wan down. He broke Tang Weinian's hand, turned around and frowned at Tang Weinian, and asked coldly, Tang Weinian, what are you doing? You hurt me. Tang Weinian showed a painful expression on her face. At this time, Jiang Nian noticed that he was holding Tang Weinian's wrist with some force, and her wrist was already red. His hand was strong to begin with, so it was normal for Tang Weinian to be unable to bear it. Seeing that she was really in pain, Jiang Nian let go. Please respect yourself. I have a girlfriend now. Let it go this time. If there is a next time, I can't guarantee that I will not hit you. Jiang Nian's words can be said to be extremely cold, which hurt Tang Weinian's heart again. Her eyes were red and she felt bad. In the past, Jiang Nian treated her well, and she was so at ease and never felt anything wrong. But now, Jiang Nian treated her like a stranger, and she really couldn't accept it. Jiang Nian, do you have to do this to me? Rubbing her wrist, Tang Weining choked up a little, raised her forehead slightly, and looked into Jiang Nian's eyes with tears in her eyes. I once had a true love in front of me, but I didn't cherish it well. I regretted it when I lost it. If you give me another chance, you will let me love you for the rest of my life. Believe me. Come back. Jiang Nian frowned, and subconsciously looked at her belly. He sneered in his heart, and his intuition told him that this woman was acting. But the acting was really impressive, so he couldn't help but sneer. The Oscar owes you a little golden man. What? Jiang Nian's cold words made Tang Weining a little confused. In 1983, Hollywood movies had not yet entered the public's field of vision, and people didn't know that the Oscar award was the highest honor award in the world of film. Jiang Nian, I know you won't believe anything I say now, but I came with sincerity this time. Tang Weining pursed her lips, hesitated for a moment, and then said, haven't you always wanted me? As long as you want, I can give it to you now. I only ask you, don't be so cold to me, please. As she said, she was about to throw herself into Jiang Nian's arms again. Jiang Nian was quick and dodged at once. At this time, Jiang Nian was in a state of panic. Tang Weining was really desperate. It seemed that there was really no other way. At this time, although it was a little dark, people could still be seen. It was meaningless for the villagers to stay at home at this time. It was hot at home, so they liked to come out and sit under the trees on the street to cool off. If they continue to pull and pull like this, who knows what rumors would spread. Jiang Nian had already decided to break up with her completely, and he would not give her any chances again, not to mention that he knew Tang Weining was pregnant. What happened to her at this time would be hard to explain later. Jiang Nian's face turned cold, and he said in a deep voice, Tang Weining, whether you are sincere or not, I have no interest in you anymore. From now on, you go your way and I go mine. We will not interfere with each other. If you insist on getting entangled and making everyone embarrassed, don't blame me for not showing you mercy. Before he finished speaking, Tang Weining suddenly stood on tiptoe, and her pink cherry mouth directly blocked Jiang Nian's mouth, and her slender jade hand also pressed against his chest. In Jiang Nian's dazed state, Tang Weining seemed to have found a breakthrough and launched an attack more rapidly. Jiang Nian's head was buzzing, and he didn't expect Tang Weining to do this suddenly. What caught him off guard was that he saw a figure not far away in the dim light, staring at him blankly. Lin Wan. Jiang Nian's heart skipped a beat. Seeing Lin Wan running away, Jiang Nian's brain suddenly cleared up, pushed Tang Weining away, slapped Tang Weining with a word, pointed at her nose and cursed. Tang Weining, you have planned it all, you are too vicious, I tell you, if Lin Wan misunderstands, I will never let you go. After that, he chased in the direction where Lin Wan ran away. Watching Jiang Nian run away, Tang Weining, who failed to succeed, covered her face with tears in her eyes, and stamped her feet in anger. Chapter 13. Not what you think. I don't know why Lin Wan ran so fast. Jiang Nian chased her all the way to her aunt Lin Qinghua's house, but still couldn't catch up with her. When they arrived at Lin Qinghua's house, they heard Lin Wan sobbing in the house. Lin Qinghua blocked the door and locked it, saying that she would not let Jiang Nian in no matter what, which made Jiang Nian very anxious. Lin Wan, you misunderstood. Please listen to my explanation. Jiang Nian knocked on the door and looked into the room anxiously. Aunt, please open the door. Things are not what you think. What do we think? Lin Qinghua folded her hands on her chest and looked at Jiang Nian up and down. TSK, Jiang Nian, I don't see you. You are so playful. You made a vow to our Lin Wan and promised to be together forever. You are still unclear with Tang Weining. What do you think of our Lin Wan? Aunt, it's not what you think. Jiang Nian explained hurriedly. But Lin Qinghua interrupted him, don't call me aunt, who is your aunt? Your last name is Jiang, and mine is Lin, there is a big difference in surnames. Misunderstanding. If you don't see the dirty things you do, how can you say it's a misunderstanding? I tell you, Jiang Nian, our Xiao Wan is a college student, well educated, and his parents are well-known figures in the city. Why should he be with you? Go, don't come to our house again in the future, just think that Xiao Wan is blind and can like you. Lin Qinghua rolled her eyes and went straight into the house. No matter how Jiang Nian shouted to explain, she didn't turn around. After entering the house, she sat directly next to Lin Wan. Aunt, is this okay? What if it's really a misunderstanding? Lin Wan wiped her tears and looked out the window. At this time, Jiang Nian was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, patting the window and explaining non-stop, and Lin Wan could hear him and open the door for him. Then you are not allowed to open the door for him. Lin Qinghua rolled her eyes and said unhappily, he should be taught a lesson. Even if he didn't mean to, he is with you here and has not yet broken up with Tang Weinian there. This is also his fault. After saying that, Lin Qinghua went straight to the Kang, drew the curtains, covered the bed, and turned off the lights. It's past 9 o'clock now. If you are not afraid that the neighbors will scold you, you are yelling outside. I advise you to go back and reflect on yourself. Lin Qinghua's voice came from the house. When Jiang Nian heard it, he stopped knocking on the window immediately. After hesitating for a moment, he slowly said, Lin Wan, I know you are angry now and feel wronged. You won't believe anything I say. Since you don't want to come out to see me, I will wait for you here for a night. When you are no longer angry and willing to see me, I will explain it to you. After saying that, Jiang Nian sat directly under the eaves. In the house, Lin Wan, who hadn't heard any movement for a long time, no longer felt wronged. When she heard that Jiang Nian would wait outside, she became a little worried. Aunt, he wouldn't really be waiting outside. It's very cold. Don't catch a cold. As she said that, she was going to take out a piece of clothing for Jiang Nian to put on. In fact, when Jiang Nian was shouting outside to explain what happened, he had already believed Jiang Nian, but he just felt wronged. Now when he heard that Jiang Nian would wait outside all night, he became worried. It's summer, what's wrong with him? If he wants to wait, let him wait. Lin Qinghua immediately objected, you girl, you just can't keep your temper. Whatever he says is true. Jiang Nian, this stinky boy, has been slick since he was a child, and he has 100 tricks. You, let him control you tightly. Lin Guan said anxiously, even if you don't get sick, there are many mosquitoes outside. No, I have to go out and take a look. This dead girl. Lin Qinghua wanted to persuade her, but Lin Guan obviously couldn't listen. He grabbed a piece of clothes and went downstairs. Lin Qinghua could only roll his eyes helplessly and sighed, girls can't be kept at home when they grow up. Crack. At this time, Jiang Nian squatted on the ground under the eaves, counting the stars in the sky helplessly. The mosquitoes around him were buzzing, making him upset. Suddenly, he heard the sound of the door opening, and his heart was immediately happy. He turned his head and saw that he was frowning just now. He immediately smiled, patted his buttocks, stood up, and came to the door. Hey, Lin Wan, I knew you wouldn't be so cruel as to not see me. Seeing the person, Jiang Nian felt relieved and happy. He couldn't help but hold Lin Wan's soft and slender fingers. I swear to God, Tang Weinian and I really have no relationship anymore. She just came to ask me to get back together. I didn't expect her to kiss me suddenly. You must believe me. At this time, Lin Wan's heart melted when Jiang Nian held her hands and looked at her affectionately. A blush appeared on her face, and she nodded. I'll forgive you this time, but don't let it happen again. I promise you, there won't be a next time. Jiang Nian raised his hand to promise, if there is a next time, let me, Jiang Nian, go out and be struck by lightning. Before he finished speaking, Lin Wan's slender jade finger pressed against his lips. You are not allowed to say such a vicious oath. Before Jiang Nian could react, he felt a warm and soft lips, and Lin Wan closed her eyes and kissed him on the lips. In the moonlight, looking at Lin Wan's white cheeks, long eyelashes, and soft hair, they were all so charming, Jiang Nian unconsciously became infatuated, his eyes were blurred, and his hands and feet gradually became bolder. Lin Guan's body temperature and the faint fragrance on her body fascinated him. Oh my God! These two dead kids. Just as the two were immersed in each other's tenderness, Lin Qinghua's voice came out from the door of the house, scaring them to separate quickly. Lin Guan blushed and didn't know where to put his hands. I'm sleepy, I'm going back to sleep, you should go back too. Lin Guan blushed, lowered her head, and ran into the house shyly. Jiang Nian scratched his head a little embarrassedly. Aunt, then I'll go back first. I'm sorry to disturb your rest today. Stop. Lin Qinghua immediately stopped Jiang Nian. Even if you didn't cheat on her this time, it's your fault. I tell you, if you want to be with our little Guan, you should break up with Tang Weinian. Yes. Jiang Nian agreed quickly. After this incident, she had to be more careful against Tang Weinian. It was obvious that in order to find a cheap father for the child in her belly, Tang Weinian was willing to use any tricks. He had reason to believe that if he had shown a little bit of affection at that time, she would have gone to play poker with him without hesitation. In addition, I have to remind you. Jiang Nian was thinking. Lin Qinghua said again, Xiao Wan is the treasure in my brother's hand. It is not easy for you to marry her. Marrying a man, you have to wear clothes and eat. You must at least prove that you can support her and will not let her suffer with you. Auntie, don't worry, I can support her and will never let her suffer. Jiang Nian promised. He was still very confident about this. What's the use of just talking? You have to take practical actions. Don't think that you made a lot of money from setting up a stall today. That may be good luck. You have to keep making money. Okay, go back and think about it. We are going to sleep too. Chapter 14. This is fate. On their way back, Jiang Nian was still a little worried, fearing that his father would talk to him about beating up Yang Wei today. But what Jiang Nian didn't expect was that when he got home, his father Jiang Dasan was sitting on the doorstep of the yard, puffing on a cigarette. When he saw Jiang Nian coming back, he slowly stood up and said, "You are already an adult, and you will soon start a family. In the future, you should think more about right and wrong before doing anything. Okay, it's getting late, go to bed early." After saying that, Jiang Dasan slowly walked into the house and slowly closed the door. Looking at Jiang Dasan's back, Jiang Nian was slightly stunned. His father's back now looked a little thin. Jiang Nian got up early the next morning. All the materials for the stall have been prepared, and they are harnessed to the donkey cart and set out before dawn. In view of the popularity yesterday, Jiang Nian increased the amount of materials prepared today. In addition, Jiang Nian also decided to do a buy two get one free promotion. No matter what era it is, the vast majority of ordinary people like to take advantage, especially in this era when there is no concept of business model. As long as this activity is done well, the reputation of Jiang Nian spicy potatoes will soon spread throughout the county and form a brand effect. By then, it will be difficult not to make money. Because we set out before dawn, it was still past 7 o'clock when we arrived at the county town, which was the time when the garment factories were open for work. However, at this time, the entrance of the garment factory was full of people. They all arrived here early and turned their heads to look around. Hey, he won't be coming back today. No way. I said yesterday that I would definitely come today. I brought my best friend here. I boasted to her for 2 hours yesterday. If she dares not come today, I will overturn her donkey cart when she comes next time, said a slightly plump woman with curly hair. Her big wavy style just became popular in this era, and for a long time, was regarded as the trend of this era. Hey, here it comes. Just as the plump woman finished her harsh words, she saw Jiang Nian driving a donkey cart, clattering around the corner. She was so excited that the powder on her face was about to fly off. She took a quick step and rushed over first. As soon as Jiang Nian's car stopped, it was immediately surrounded by people. I want one. Give me 2. I want 5. Everyone was rushing forward and things were a little out of control for a while. Seeing this scene, Jiang Nian was so happy that he couldn't stop smiling. Jiang Nian quickly set up the stall and hurriedly said, don't push. We prepared a lot today. No need to rush. Everyone, listen to me. To thank you for your love of Jiang Nian spicy potato cubes, today everyone will buy 2 and get 1 free. Real. Give me 2. I want 2, too. After hearing Jiang Nian's words, all the people around him became even more excited and started to pay for the food. Although Jiang Nian had anticipated this situation and even made a lot more, he still underestimated people's love for the spicy potato cubes. In less than an hour, all the potatoes he prepared were sold out, not counting the free ones. A total of 324 were sold. Moreover, there were still many people who came later who were unable to buy it, and they all complained to Jiang Nian for not preparing more. Jiang Nian, who was already exhausted and sweating, could only keep his head down to apologize and promise that they would be able to buy it tomorrow, and then he closed the stall with a smile. Oh, it's too popular. I can't handle it alone. I'm totally overwhelmed. Jiang Nian couldn't help but complain. Yesterday, with Lin Guan's help, he didn't feel anything, but today he was alone, and after selling all those spicy potato cubes, he was already sweating and exhausted. This made Jiang Nian think about hiring someone. A total of 162 yuan was sold today. Jiang Nian counted them and found that 2 yuan was missing. As he was too busy, he didn't know who didn't pay. In this era, people generally have not been to school and their quality is relatively low. If they can't see it at a glance, they can't collect the money. There is nothing that can be done about it. With good profits, Jiang Nian came to the supply and marketing cooperative again. Yesterday, because Lin Guan misunderstood him, Jiang Nian planned to buy a gift to make her happy. After choosing for a long time, he finally chose a butterfly hairpin, which many girls like nowadays. Lin Guan has long, naturally black hair, and she will definitely look beautiful with this. In addition, Jiang Nian bought a pair of old cloth shoes for his father Jiang Dasan, a vest for his mother, and some daily necessities before driving the donkey cart home. When we returned to the village, it was already past 2 in the afternoon. After moving all the things he bought into their house, Jiang Nian couldn't wait to take the hairpin and go find Lin Guan happily. His head was full of the beautiful image of Lin Guan wearing the hairpin. However, when Jiang Nian arrived at Lin Qinghua's house, he found that Lin Guan was not at home, the door was closed, and he didn't know where Lin Qinghua had gone. Jiang Nian was anxious to see Lin Guan and wished he had a smartphone right now. After looking around, they didn't find Lin Guan. However, they learned from the neighbors that just before Jiang Nian returned to the village, Tang Weinian came to look for Lin Guan, and then the two of them went out and walked towards the river. Tang Weinian. Jiang Nian became anxious when he heard that Tang Weinian came to find Lin Wan, and ran towards the river without saying a word. He didn't know what trouble Tang Weinian would make next, and he couldn't help feeling a little worried. After all, compared to Tang Weinian's dominance, Lin Guan's character was too weak, so when the two of them were together, Lin Guan would definitely be the one being bullied. The creek was not far away, and Jiang Nian ran there quickly. However, there were weeds all around, and on both sides were cornfields taller than people, so it was not easy to find. At this time, Lin Guan and Tang Weinian were walking together in a narrow aisle between two cornfields. If you have anything to say, just say it here. Lin Guan suddenly stopped and said. Tang Weinian slowly turned around, glanced at Lin Wan, and asked, Lin Wan, do you really want to be with Jiang Nian? Lin Wan nodded and said, yes, I love him very much, and he loves me too. But have you ever thought that you two are not suitable for each other at all? You are a city person, a college student, and your parents are both high-ranking officials. He is a country person, illiterate, and a real peasant. Don't you feel wrong to marry him? Tang Weinian said. There's nothing to feel wronged about. As long as we have each other in our hearts, I believe we can face all difficulties. At this moment, Lin Guan did not hesitate. What about your parents? Do you think your parents can accept you marrying a peasant? Hearing Tang Weinian's words, Lin Guan suddenly looked a little depressed. Her father was easier to deal with because he came from the countryside and had no prejudice against rural people, but her mother's side was more difficult. Because she had experienced the hardship of marrying a rural man, she often told her not to marry a rural man, and to marry someone of equal status. But she just happened to fall in love with a country man. Maybe that was her fate. Chapter 15 Lin Wan, you are so pretty. Lin Guan. Seeing that Lin Wan looked a little depressed, Tang Weinian grabbed her hand and said earnestly, as a best friend, I can't just watch you jump into the fire pit. Jiang Nian is handsome and tall, and in the eyes of us country people, he is indeed a good match, but how can he compare with city people? It's not too late for you to regret now. You are so beautiful, and there are countless excellent men in the city who like you. Why do you have to compete with me? As long as you break up with Jiang Nian now, we can still be good friends. At this moment, Tang Weinian spoke with true feelings. I really like brother Jiang Nian. Like? Can liking someone be used to make a living? Now that you like him, you won't feel anything about him no matter what he does, but when you marry him in the future, you will have to live with him and endure hardships together. Tang Weinian continued, you are a city college student, delicate and tender, can you bear the life in the countryside? You will have to deal with the daily necessities of life in the future, and even eating will be a problem. Will you still like him as much as you do now? Hearing Tang Weinian's words, Lin Guan was stunned. She had never thought about this matter before. She always believed that as long as the two of them truly liked each other, that was enough. Now hearing what Tang Weinian said, it seems to make sense. But when he thought about Jiang Nian making more than 50 yuan in one morning by setting up a stall, his confidence increased again. It doesn't matter. I believe in brother Jiang Nian. When it comes to making money, no one can be better than brother Jiang Nian. Tang Weinian never thought that after she had wasted so much time talking, Lin Wan would say something like this to her, which was simply unacceptable. This made him so angry that he really wanted to slap Lin Guan. But she still held back. Are you really going to degenerate and jump into the fire pit? Your parents' previous experience has not warned you at all. After all, the two were once best friends, so Tang Weinian knew something about Lin Wan's affairs. Lin Wan's mother was once an educated youth who went to the countryside. She fell in love with Lin Wan's father, Lin Youcai, at first sight. The two of them were once a good story in the village. Even though her family objected, Lin Wan's mother was determined to marry Lin Youcai. Lin Youcai was quite capable and caught up with the resumption of the college entrance examination, becoming one of the first batch of college students. As a result, Lin Wan's mother married her father as she wished. But love also has a shelf life. Not long after marrying Lin Youcai, Lin Wan's mother discovered that the two had completely different living habits. The trivialities of life quickly created estrangement and conflicts between them, and they would quarrel over the slightest thing. In this era, divorce is considered a shameful thing, otherwise, Lin Wan's mother would have divorced her father long ago. Weinian, stop talking. This is fate. Who made me fall in love with him? Tang Weinian was so angry that all her words were in vain. She finally understood that she was in love tonight, and no matter what she said at this time, she would not take the initiative to withdraw and break up with Jiang Nian. After thinking about it, how about telling her about my pregnancy? Just say that the child is Jiang Nian's. With Lin Wan's fragile heart, she will definitely take it to heart. Anyway, no matter what, Lin Guan must withdraw voluntarily today. Just when Tang Weinian was about to speak, she saw a tall figure walking towards them. After seeing his appearance clearly, the idea was immediately dispelled. He could only purse his lips and say, "Okay, no more talking. Jiang Nian is here." Lin Guan looked back and found that it was Jiang Nian, and he was immediately delighted. "Jiang Nian, here." Lin Guan waved excitedly. Seeing Jiang Nian approaching, Tang Weinian, who had just been persuading Lin Wan, looked a little embarrassed. "He's here, I'm leaving first, we'll talk later, keep my words in mind." After saying that, he turned around and left without even looking back. What did she want from you? Did she do anything to you? Jiang Nian stepped forward, looked at Tang Weinian's leaving back, frowned slightly and asked. Lin Guan shook his head. "No, she just wanted to talk to me." "Talk?" Jiang Nian frowned and asked, "What?" Nothing. Lin Guan's eyes were somewhat evasive, which made Jiang Nian even more certain that what Tang Weinian said was definitely not something good. "She asked me to leave you and said we were not suitable." Lin Guan did not hide it. "This shameless girl, I'm going to find her." Jiang Nian instantly became angry. Last night, he launched a sneak attack on him, causing Lin Wan to misunderstand him, and today he came to alienate the relationship between him and Lin Wan. It was really despicable. "Are you playing infernal affairs with me?" Jiang Nian couldn't bear it any longer and immediately chased after her to confront Tang Weinian. "No, forget it." Lin Guan grabbed Jiang Nian and persuaded him, "Anyway, I didn't listen to her. It's better to have less trouble than more. Lin Guan has a quiet personality and is kind. She always thinks positively about people and things. This is her strength, but also her weakness, as she is easily instigated and deceived. Lin Wan, listen to me. I, Jiang Nian, will marry you and regard you as the only love of my life. I will never have any other thoughts about you. So, no matter what she says to you or how she tries to stir up trouble between us, you have to believe me. Do you understand?" Jiang Nian said with a firm look. Hearing Jiang Nian's serious words, Lin Wan's heart suddenly surged. She nodded with gentle eyes and said, don't worry, I absolutely believe you. Hearing this, Jiang Nian breathed a sigh of relief and his mood improved greatly. Close your eyes first. I have a gift for you. Gift? Lin Guan was immediately delighted. What gift? You're being so mysterious. Close your eyes first. When I tell you to open them and you'll know. Unable to resist Jiang Nian, Lin Guan closed her eyes with anticipation, and Jiang Nian took out the butterfly hairpin and spread it in his palm. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Hearing Jiang Nian's words, Lin Guan opened her eyes expectantly, and when she saw the hairpin in Jiang Nian's hand, she immediately shouted excitedly, "Wow, so beautiful. Do you like it?" Like? Lin Guan nodded happily, but her eyes never left the hairpin. Can I put it on you? Jiang Nian looked at Lin Wan, his eyes so gentle that they were hard to resist. At this moment, Lin Guan felt unprecedented happiness. What a woman cares about most is that there is a man who remembers her, thinks about her, and cares about her. It doesn't matter whether the gift is expensive or not. Lin Wan, you are so beautiful. After giving the butterfly hairpin to Lin Guan, Jiang Nian was stunned for a moment. With this hairpin embellishment, Lin Guan's pure sweetness looks even more attractive. At this time, Jiang Nian only feels his lips are dry, his throat is a little dry, and his chest is beating non-stop. After being praised by Jiang Nian, Lin Guan's pink face instantly turned pink. Being looked at by Jiang Nian like this, she looked even more charming and beautiful despite her shyness. Brother Jiang Nian, what are you looking at? Of course, it's my future wife. Jiang Nian answered. He took Lin Wan into his arms, took a deep breath, and said, Lin Wan, promise me that you must marry me. If I can't marry you in this life, there is no meaning in my life. Yes, Tilder. Brother Jiang Nian, I promise you. Hearing Lin Guan's reply, Jiang Nian suddenly became excited. He picked up Lin Guan and walked towards the cornfield. Jiang Nian, what are you doing? We haven't gotten married yet. What are you afraid of? You are my future wife. It is not against the law to spend money in advance. After this is over, I will go to your house to propose marriage. Let's settle our relationship as soon as possible to avoid people with bad intentions. Chapter 16, Propose Marriage Tomorrow. In the cornfield. After a while of sweating profusely, Lin Wan snuggled in Jiang Nian's arms, her eyes filled with extreme tenderness. She gently stroked Jiang Nian's middle hole and said affectionately, Jiang Nian, I have completely given myself to you, you can't leave me. Looking at Lin Guan's shy face, Jiang Nian gently lifted her hair, his eyes full of doting. Lin Guan, listen carefully. You are the only woman in my life. Not only will I marry you, but I will also give you the best life. I want you to be happy all your life. Jiang Nian's eyes were extremely firm. After hearing Jiang Nian's words, Lin Wan seemed to have made up her mind. She looked into Jiang Nian's eyes and said seriously, I believe you, and I promise you that I will only marry you in this life. Jiang Nian was in a good mood. The two of them hugged each other, sitting in the cornfield, looking towards the river, listening to the gurgling water, like the most beautiful symphony in the countryside, and at this time they were looking forward to the future. Brother Jiang Nian, do you think we will get pregnant this time? Yes. Jiang Nian answered without any pause, not only will I get pregnant, but it will be twins, believe it or not. Lin Guan burst out laughing, it sounds like the truth. It's true. They must be twins, a boy and a girl. Jiang Nian said seriously. Lin Guan had no idea that she was already pregnant at this time. Jiang Nian knew from the beginning that she was pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl, but of course he couldn't explain this to her. It would be great if they were twins, a boy and a girl. You can have both a boy and a girl at once. I'm just afraid you can't afford to raise them. Lin Guan said with a smile. Who said I can't afford it? Jiang Nian suddenly became anxious, let alone one son and one daughter, even if I have 10, I can afford it. Jiang Nian thought to himself, with the billions of dollars I had back then, I could afford to raise not only 10 children, but even 100. Yes, we can afford it. It depends on how we raise them. If we let them roam free like in the countryside, we can certainly afford it. Lin Guan curled his lips and said jokingly. In 1983, 9-year compulsory education had not yet been implemented. Not only rural children, but even children in cities did not necessarily have the opportunity to go to school. Most children were left to their own devices and had no one to take care of them. They usually hang out in groups of 3 or 5, catching fish and shrimps, stealing melons and dates, just like wild children. However, Lin Guan overlooked a problem. In this era, supplies were scarce and not everyone could afford even food. For an ordinary family, even having 3 children, let alone 10, would be a problem to feed them. However, Jiang Nian was confident and said with a smile, "Our children must be raised in wealth and receive a good education. Don't worry, have as many children as you want. I can afford to raise as many as you want." Puh tilde. Lin Wan's face flushed instantly. "Who wants to give birth to so many babies for you? Do you think I'm an old sow who can give birth to babies casually? Don't say that about yourself." Jiang Nian looked at Lin Wan's shy look and immediately made a joke. Then he pressed Lin Wan's shoulder seriously and said, "Lin Wan, I'm serious. I want to have babies with you. A bunch of babies." Lin Guan's face instantly turned red like a piece of red cloth. "It's being connected, keep your voice down." Lin Guan blushed and looked around. Seeing that there was no one around, she looked at Jiang Nian and asked, "But by the way, when are you going to come to my house to propose marriage? If you want, I can go tomorrow." Jiang Nian had almost no hesitation. Of course, the sooner this kind of thing happens, the better. He also knows that Lin Guan is now pregnant with his child, so they have to get married before the belly shows to avoid gossip. "I did want to." Lin Wan sighed, "But when I talked to Tang Weinian just now, she reminded me. Because my father is from the countryside, my mother has suffered from marrying a rural man, and she has always disagreed with me finding another rural man. She believes that rural people are uneducated and have communication barriers. For example, my father went to college and is now a high-ranking official, but in life, he still can't change the bad habits of a farmer." Seeing Lin Guan's bitter face, Jiang Nian suddenly smiled. "I don't think you need to worry about this problem at all. First of all, it's your father who can't change his bad habits. He can't represent all rural people, and rural people don't necessarily have bad habits. Besides, I am quite educated. You don't have to worry about that. Even though you are a college student, I can tell you responsibly that you don't know as much as I do." Jiang Nian doesn't dare to say that he is well read, but he also dares to say that he is well versed in both Chinese and Western culture. In his previous life, he accumulated billions of dollars not only because of good luck, but more because of his hard work. While seizing opportunities, he was also constantly learning and enriching his mind. Although he had never been to school, he later relied on his own efforts to successfully obtain a master's degree in economics from Stanford University in the United States. "You are just bragging." Lin Guan didn't believe it at all. She knew that Jiang Nian had never been to school and could not read a single word. Facing Lin Wan's doubts, Jiang Nian did not explain, but just smiled. "Don't disbelieve it, you will know later. Don't worry, I will definitely be able to handle your mother. How about this, you follow me to set up the stall tomorrow, and after that, I'll go to your house to propose marriage, what do you think?" "Real?" Lin Guan was a little excited. She jumped up and hugged Jiang Nian's neck. Although she was worried that Jiang Nian might not be able to get past her mother, she still looked forward to Jiang Nian proposing marriage. From the first time she saw Jiang Nian, her heart was filled with restlessness, and she knew she fell in love with this handsome and cheerful man. She had thought about the happy life she would have after marrying Jiang Nian countless times, and this day was finally coming. However, the sudden happiness made her a little panicked. After all, this happiness came too quickly and everything seemed unrealistic. When she thought of her happy life with Jiang Nian, she couldn't suppress the joy on her face. She didn't have any big pursuits, she just wanted to live happily with the one she loved, 2 people and a dog, 3 meals a day and for seasons. "Okay, then tomorrow you have to change into clean clothes and dress more handsomely, and try to make a good impression on my mother." Lin Guan looked at Jiang Nian and said, "Oh, as for clothes, I really haven't bought any." Jiang Nian slapped his forehead and immediately had an idea in his mind. "How about this, after setting up the stall tomorrow, we can go by directly. You have a good eye, you can help me pick out a set." "Well, it's settled then." Lin Guan nodded. After sending Lin Guan back, Jiang Nian returned home. His parents were still nowhere to be seen at home. He thought they were working in the fields and had not returned yet. After waiting at home for a while, Jiang Nian went out again, locked the door, and went to the back field to look for it based on his intuition. His parents are getting older and their health is getting worse. Jiang Nian tries to let them work less as much as possible, but people in the countryside have been busy all their lives and cannot rest at all. If they don't work for 3 days, they will feel very uncomfortable. When he arrived at the field, Jiang Nian did not see his parents, but he saw 2 hoes placed next to the ground trap at the edge of the field. No one answered after he shouted a few times. Since he had found the right place, Jiang Nian stopped looking around and took a hoe to start weeding the weeds in the field. Chapter 17: The Speed of Earning Money. The hoe is waving and sweat is dripping onto the soil. After working for several hours, the weeds in the field were finally almost gone. Jiang Nian wiped the sweat from his forehead and his mouth felt a little dry. He used to be lazy and had never done so much work. In addition, I got up early in the morning, so I couldn't help feeling tired. I sat in the shade of the cornfield, avoiding the sun, thinking about the hard work of the working people. Working hard all year round, you can't earn anything. These days, if you can eat white flour buns, it's considered the new year. But even so, every household has hope. After all, the land is theirs and the crops they grow are theirs. In the past, when we were working in production teams, we earned centimeters and food coupons. We worked hard all year round but didn't earn much, and life was less interesting. The industrial process has not yet flourished. With the rapid development of the national economy, the industrial process has accelerated, and various agricultural tools have been put into agricultural production, so farmers will not have to work so hard. The sun is setting. 5 or 6 figures emerged from the Jinsei forest in the back mountain. Each of them carried a bulging sack on his shoulder. The sack was filled with things that were obviously mountain products. From a distance, Jiang Nian saw his father Jiang Dashan and mother Wang Hong. He quickly walked up to them and took the sack from his mother Wang Hong's shoulders. Jiang Nian, look at how many hazelnuts we have picked. Bring some to Lin Wan tomorrow. She lives in the city and can't usually eat them. As soon as they met, Mother Wang Hong said to Jiang Nian happily. The mountains here are full of wild hazelnuts and walnuts. Every year at this time, the villagers will go up the mountain together to pick them. After bringing it home, dry it in the hot sun, then remove the shell, dry it and store it. It can be eaten at home for a year. People nowadays do not have the awareness to sell agricultural products in the city. In a few years, with the development of the reformed economy, these agricultural products will be taken to the county towns to be sold. This is a rare commodity in the county, and it can be sold for 0.30 cents per pound, and sometimes even for 0.50 cents. It is even more expensive if it is shelled. Looking at these hazelnuts, Jiang Nian couldn't help but think in his heart. Okay, I have discussed it with Lin Guan. After setting up the stall tomorrow, I will go to her house to propose marriage. By the way, I will bring some for her parents to try. Jiang Nian responded. Really? Upon hearing this, Mother Wang Hong clenched her fists excitedly, then bring more. I picked some mushrooms a while ago and just dried them. You can bring some too. Mother Jiang Nian, there's nothing to lose in the city. Lin Guan's parents are big shots now. Would they be interested in your stuff? It would be more practical to buy some chicken, duck, fish and eggs and bring them over. Grandpa Song at the side reminded. There are all kinds of things in the city, but nothing in our countryside is authentic. Wang Hong said, but you're right. When we go to their house, we can't just bring these things. We need to go to the supply and marketing cooperative to buy some nutritional supplements. We can also take Lin Guan with us to see what her parents like to eat. It's time to eat, Mom. Mother Jiang Nian, this trip must cost a lot of money, right? Isn't it time to return the betrothal gift that Tang Weinian's family owes your family? Aunt Li asked curiously, turning her head while carrying a sack. Not only was she curious, but everyone present was curious. In the past 2 days, Jiang Nian went into the city every day, and bought a lot of things when he came back. Even if the betrothal gift was to be returned, the money could not be spent like this. What do you want to get back? Wang Lan is so shameless, how can she spit out the money so easily? Mother Wang Hong felt angry when this matter was mentioned. The money was not returned, and your Jiang Nian has been eating fish and meat these past 2 days. Hey, That's all my son earned from setting up a stall these past 2 days. Wang Hong couldn't stop smiling when she mentioned that her son could make money and was capable. Setting up a stall. Of course. What do you think he did in the city these 2 days? He went to set up a stall to earn money. He made a lot of money in a day, more than 50 yuan. Wang Hong raised her voice with some pride. What? Everyone's eyes widened. Just over $50 a day. This is equivalent to a month's salary for a factory worker in the county town. In their rural area, they basically have no income per month. Only at the end of the year can they earn 1 or 200 yuan, and some even earn less. Even if we calculate it on an average of 200 yuan, it would only be 16 yuan a month, and 16 yuan is the income for a family. Several people became uneasy when they thought about it and stared at Jiang Nian blankly. What can you sell to make so much money in one day? Oh my goodness, this is too scary, it's more profitable than robbing a bank. At this rate, won't your family become a millionaire? In this era, the 10,000 yuan households of the 1970s are still legends in people's hearts and symbols of life and quality. Everyone strives to become a 10,000 yuan household. Seeing everyone's surprised and envious expressions, Mother Wang Hong was the happiest. Father Wang Dasan said nothing. He was a little unhappy about his mother's bragging. He had lived in the village all his life. The villagers disliked you if you were poor and were afraid that you would become rich. If you really became a millionaire, who knows what these people would say? Hey, Jiang Nian, you can make so much money by setting up a stall. Do you think we can take the hazelnuts to the county town and sell them? Can we make some money? Aunt Wu's eyes suddenly lit up and asked. That's for sure. This thing is not grown on a large scale now. It's only available at this time of the year. People in the city can't get it. If we take it to the county town, we can definitely sell it for a good price. Besides, this thing has no cost, so if we sell it, it will help to supplement our family income. After hearing Jiang Nian's answer, they immediately became interested. In that case, Jiang Nian, why don't you help us sell these hazelnuts? We can't eat so many anyway. I think so. I can use the money from the sale to buy some cookies. My child has been clamoring for cookies every day recently. I am so worried. When Jiang Nian heard this, he thought, isn't this a business opportunity? Just as they were at the doorstep, Jiang Nian put down the sack on his shoulder and looked at the people. I don't think it's necessary to go through so much trouble. If you all want to sell, just sell it to me. It's 1.5 cents a pound. If you want to sell, just weigh it. 15 cents. 15 cents per pound. This sack must weigh more than 40 pounds. It can be sold for 6 yuan. Okay, I'll sell it. Aunt Wu was the first to agree. After a start, others also expressed their desire to sell. After all, there are plenty of hazelnuts on the mountain, and $6 is a lot for one trip. Although they know they may sell more in the county town, they don't have time and don't know where to sell. It would be not worth it to go to the county town with all the effort if you can't sell it. Dad, go and bring our big scale here. Jiang Nian said. Wang Dasan didn't say anything and turned to go back inside. His mother Wang Hong was a little puzzled and tugged at Jiang Nian's clothes from behind. Why did you collect these? What if you can't sell them and they're just a waste of money? Jiang Nian smiled faintly. Don't worry, Mom. I have an idea. I promise I won't let it go wrong. Chapter 18 Harvesting Hazelnuts. Soon, my father brought the only scale in the house. It had a large weighing beam and a large weight, and it required 2 people to carry it front and back to weigh things. There are no electronic scales now, so every household has this old scale. It is difficult to use, but it can hold a lot of weight. When slaughtering the New Year pig, it can even lift the pig. The hook hooked the sack, and the 2 men lifted it forward and backward, adjusted the weight, and quickly weighed the first bag. 54 pounds and 6 ounces is $8.19 in total. Aunt Wu, I'll give you $8.20. As he said that, Jiang Nian took out a wad of money from his pocket, counted it out $1 or $2 at a time, and handed the counted money to Aunt Wu. Hey, we sold quite a lot. Aunt Wu took the money, her face filled with uncontrollable joy. I don't usually have much income, but this time I received more than $8. How can I not be happy? It's my turn. It's my turn. Aunt Li couldn't wait any longer, so she stretched out her hand to greet people. Seeing others losing money, she felt itchy inside. £45, $6.75. How come it's only over 40 kilograms? My sack is bigger than hers. When Aunt Lee heard that it was only over 40 kilograms, she couldn't accept it. She walked forward to take a look at the scale, and still felt a little unwilling. Your sack is big, but it's not filled to measure. When I was picking, it couldn't hold all the fruits, but I pushed them down a lot. You're definitely not as heavy as I am. Oh, don't worry, Jiang Nian can still lie to you. Others also spoke up. Only then did Aunt Lee take the money. Then, he weighed the food from the other two families as well. One weighed 43 kilograms, and the other weighed 59 kilograms. The total weight of the four families was 201.6 kilograms, and Jiang Nian spent a total of 30.3 yuan. Several people had happy faces when they got the money. Many people nearby also came over after hearing the noise. Seeing Jiang Nian collecting hazelnuts, several of them made a lot of money from selling them, and they were all tempted. After all, no one can make much money on a regular basis. Jiang Nian, are you going to harvest these hazelnuts tomorrow? Yes, why are you picking hazelnuts so quietly? If we knew you were picking them, we would go up the mountain to pick them too. Collect in large quantities. Jiang Nian did not hesitate at all and continued, you guys pick them. I want all of them. 1.5 cents per pound. Okay, I'll go up the mountain tomorrow. That's good. I'll sell the hazelnuts tomorrow and buy meat for the kids. Everyone was excited and eager to try. Some even planned to get up early tomorrow morning to pick the nuts. After all, the mountain was so small and the hazelnuts were limited. Whoever picked the first one would own it. After seeing off the neighbors, Jiang Nian carried the sacks onto the roof and put all the hazelnuts on the roof to dry in the sun. After being exposed to the sun, it would be very easy to shell them. However, when drying hazelnuts, the most feared thing is rain. Once they get wet by rain, they will become moldy and the hazelnuts will deteriorate. I have to buy some tarpaulin tomorrow. Jiang Nian thought to himself. At this time, Mother Wang Hong was a little depressed. When she thought about spending more than 30 yuan, she felt a pang of pain in her heart. She was even more worried that these hazelnuts could not be sold, and she began to mutter to herself. You kid, you've made a lot of money by setting up a stall, so just do it honestly. What if you can't sell all the hazelnuts you've collected? Just shut up. Perhaps because he was annoyed by Wang Hong's nagging, his father Jiang Dasan puffed on his pipe and said, the child must have his own plans, otherwise how could he have collected so much? Besides, he spent all his own money, not yours, so why should you feel bad? Since the child has a talent for business, we have to support him and let him do it freely. Also, don't be like an old hen and tell everyone what your children will do and how much money they will make. People will be jealous of the rich and look down on the poor. If you tell others everything, who knows what they will think? Besides, what if someone has bad intentions and steals the money when no one is home? Oops. Wang Hong didn't really pay attention to what Jiang Dasan said before, but when she heard that someone might come to steal money, she was frightened and ran to Jiang Nian in a hurry. Your dad is right. You must keep your money safe and make sure no one is watching it. It's definitely not safe to keep your money at home. So, I'll sew a pocket on your underwear and you can put your money in the pocket. It won't get lost. Jiang Nian burst out laughing. Mom, how much money can you put in your underwear pocket? When our family has money in the future, can we put it all in our underwear pockets? Besides, banknotes are fine, but are coins also put in underwear pockets? That would be really annoying. This made Wang Hong feel troubled. In the past, the family had only about 100 yuan in savings, so she sewed a pocket on her underwear and kept the money there so that no one could steal it. But she never thought that it would cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. From this perspective, having money does not necessarily mean happiness. You won't be able to eat or sleep well. You're afraid that your money will be stolen if you leave it at home, and you're afraid that it will be lost if you carry it with you. Mom, we don't have that much money yet, so there's no need to worry. Jiang Nian saw the struggle in his mother's heart and immediately comforted her. If we really had that much money, we wouldn't have to worry. There are banks in the city. You can keep your money in the bank. What are you afraid of? Yes, there is a bank. How could I forget about this? Wang Hong couldn't stop smiling. In rural areas of this era, it is not easy for every household to make money. They keep whatever money they have in their hands. There is no concept of depositing money in the bank. Even if they have heard of banks, they have never deposited money. After all, it's good enough if the money you earn is enough to cover your living expenses, so how can you have any spare money to save in the bank? Well, we haven't made that much money yet, why think so much? Jiang Dasan smoked his pipe, glanced at Jiang Nian, and asked, I don't know what you are going to do with so many hazelnuts, but it seems that you have an idea. I won't ask too much, but you know the situation at home, I can't help you, it all depends on you. Jiang Nian nodded and said he understood. Looking at his son, Jiang Dasan seemed to be hesitant to speak. He always felt that his son had changed, become mature, more thoughtful, and even a little unpredictable. This is a good thing. He is happy that his son has become capable and responsible, and can support a family. He finally believed that a man's maturity only takes a moment. The greatest happiness for a father is that his son is better than himself. At night, Jiang Nian prepared all the materials for setting up the stall the next day, and collected all the hazelnuts in case of rain. Sitting on the kang, he counted the money in his hand. I sold 57.5 yuan on the first day, spent more than 10 yuan on buying things, and then paid off several bills when I came back, so I had almost nothing left. I used the money from today's sales to buy other things, which cost me 15.6 yuan, and 30.3 yuan to buy hazelnuts, leaving me with 114.5 yuan. After counting, Jiang Nian found a small notebook and wrote down every income and expenditure of the past few days. When doing business, you have to be prudent and careful with your spending, and save money. This is the way to do business. After the business money and the accounts were compared, Jiang Nian took out 50 yuan and went to the east room and handed the money to his father. Dad, this is 50 yuan. I have paid back the money I owed to my second aunt, Uncle Dawn, and Uncle Cow. I will pay off the other debts tomorrow. If there is not enough, I will give it to you tomorrow when I come back from setting up my stall. Looking at the money Jiang Nian handed over, Jiang Dasan hesitated for a while. You want to take hazelnut, and you need the money right now, and you have to propose marriage tomorrow, why don't you take it first, and the repayment can wait? Don't worry, Dad. I sold a lot today. I still have more than 50 yuan in my pocket. It's enough for everything I do tomorrow. Chapter 19. Some people are like poison. Nothing happened that night. Early the next morning, Jiang Nian was woken up by his mother Wang Hong. Knowing that today's work was urgent and the task was heavy, Jiang Nian jumped up, quickly put on his clothes, ate a quick meal, and started to get busy. Because I'm going to meet Lin Guan's parents today, it's best to arrive in the morning, so the amount of preparation today is only half of yesterday, and with Lin Guan's help today, it won't be too surprising. He expected that after he finished selling everything, it would be exactly 8 o'clock, so he would rush to the supply and marketing cooperative, buy some things, dress up nicely, and then go straight to Lin Guan's house. The first time I met Lin Guan's parents, I naturally couldn't be too shabby. Hazelnuts, mushrooms, these are all prepared for you. This is our old hen, it doesn't lay eggs anymore, so you should take it with you. You must be polite when you go there, and don't let others think that we country folk have no manners. As Mother Wang Hong loaded the prepared things into the car, she kept telling him, when you go there, if their parents don't agree, or say something unpleasant, you have to endure it. If we want to marry their daughter, we have to endure it. If there is any problem, tell Lin Wan later. She likes you so much, she will definitely find a way to get her parents to agree. Do you understand? Jiang Nian nodded repeatedly. Your mother is right. Normally, a marriage proposal requires 3 matchmakers and 6 betrothal gifts, but we don't know what her parents' attitude is. If they agree that you two can be together, then we can choose a good day and formally propose marriage. Father Jiang Dasan said while smoking his pipe. Mom and Dad, I understand. Don't worry, I will make them satisfied. It's good to have confidence, but after all, our family background is different from others. If they don't agree, you can't do anything stupid. Jiang Dasan, who knew his son very well, immediately reminded him with a stern face, fearing that his son would do something stupid. Your son is already this big, do you still think he is a child? Wang Hong rolled her eyes at Jiang Dasan, then turned to Jiang Nian and said, be careful on the road. Mom believes in you. I will do nothing today and wait for your good news at home. Okay. Jiang Nian got in the car, held the reins, waved to his parents, and drove straight to Lin Qinghua's house with a happy heart. Lin Guan finished dressing up early in the morning and stood at the door waiting with her aunt Lin Qinghua. Hearing the clattering sound of the donkey cart, she immediately nodded her feet excitedly and looked around. She saw Jiang Nian driving the cart from afar, and her face flushed with excitement. When Jiang Nian, who was riding on the donkey cart, saw Lin Guan standing by the roadside, his eyes suddenly lit up, his heart began to pound, and his eyes were fixed on her. Lin Wan is particularly beautiful today, with twin ponytails, a floral dress, and a pair of black leather shoes. Her soft, snow-white skin is as soft as a dragonfly touching the water, and her pink lips are as tempting as cherries. She is dressed sweetly and naturally, and you will be attracted by the freshness and naturalness she exudes at first glance. The butterfly hairpin on her head perfectly embellishes the entire look. At this moment, only two words popped up in Jiang Nian's mind: amazing. Lin Guan is so beautiful. This kind of pure, fresh and natural beauty will never make people feel out of place or bored no matter how they look at her. In his previous life, Jiang Nian had seen many beauties, including top stars, international supermodels, and well-known anchors. Compared with Lin Wan at this moment, there was simply a world of difference. What do you think? Our Xiao Wan is pretty, right? You are so lucky that Xiao Wan falls in love with you. Seeing that Jiang Nian's donkey cart had arrived nearby and Jiang Nian was staring at her, Lin Qinghua couldn't help but burst out laughing. Lin Guan, who was standing by, was stared at by Jiang Nian. His face was red and his face was buried deep in his neck. He rubbed his fingers restlessly and said in a voice as soft as a mosquito, "Brother Jiang Nian, what are you doing? You're staring at me and it's embarrassing." "Lin Guan, you are so beautiful, just like a fairy." Jiang Nian smiled and said without any hesitation. "This is what he really thinks. It's not as good as you say." Lin Guan's face felt hot and her heart was pounding like it was about to jump out. She didn't know why, but every time she saw Jiang Nian, she couldn't help but feel restless. The emotion that was about to burst out, and the obsession with Jiang Nian, made her want to rush into Jiang Nian's arms immediately, as if she was an inseparable part of Jiang Nian's body. This made her even more certain that Jiang Nian was her Prince Charming, the calamity she could not escape in this life. She had seen it in a book. Some people are like poison. Once you take a bite, it's hard to quit. Jiang Nian is such a person. Oh, you two, I really can't stand you. I'm so old, and I still have to watch you two show your affection. It's really killing me. Seeing Jiang Nian and Lin Guan looking at each other with affection and shyness in their eyes, how could Lin Qinghua, a widow, bear it? Hurry up and get in the car. It's already late. You need to exchange glances. It will be just the two of you later. As she spoke, Lin Qinghua quickly climbed onto the donkey cart and sat on it. She then reached out to pull the blushing Lin Wan, and couldn't help but complain, "You two, one has feelings, and the other has intentions. If you two are really separated, you will become a pair of desperate mandarin ducks, just like what is said in the storybook. Puh, puh, puh." After saying that, Lin Qinghua quickly slapped her own mouth a few times. "Look at this stinky mouth. On such a happy day, you say such depressing words. Don't worry, you two. When we get to Lin Wan's house, I will definitely do my best to bring you two together. But Jiang Nian, you have to treat our Xiao Wan well in the future. If you dare to let our Xiao Wan suffer any injustice, I, your aunt, will be the first to not forgive you." "Don't worry, aunt, I promise to treat Lin Guan well. I won't bear to let such a beautiful daughter-in-law suffer any grievances." Jiang Nian promised with a smile, waving the whip, and the donkey cart rattled on the road. When Lin Wan heard Jiang Nian calling her his wife right now, her face turned red again, and she shyly retorted, "Who is your wife? You'd better get through this hurdle first." Jiang Nian didn't care. He thought he was thick-skinned and could bear whatever Lin Wan's mother said. He was also confident that Lin Wan's mother would look at him differently and let her marry Lin Wan to him. However, Lin Guan couldn't help feeling a little worried. That's why she brought her aunt Lin Qinghua along, wanting her aunt to say more good things about Jiang Nian. The donkey cart rattled out of the village, carrying the disappearing moonlight and greeting the rising sun. On the other side, Wang Lan, who got up early to go to the toilet, saw Jiang Nian carrying a car full of things and driving out of the village. She thought about what she had just overheard and suddenly felt shocked, Oh my god, Jiang Nian brought so many things, and Lin Wan, that little bitch, dressed so beautifully, and Lin Qinghua followed him. Didn't they go to meet their parents? My heart skipped a beat and I jumped up immediately, running all the way home, not caring that my shoes were lost. It's fatal, it's fatal. You little bitch, you are still sleeping. Hurry up and get up. Something big has happened. Tang Weinian, who was half asleep, turned over impatiently. What are you doing, Mom? What big deal could happen? What big deal? Jiang Nian went with that little bitch Lin Wan to her house to meet her parents. That's it. Before she could finish her words, Tang Weinian suddenly woke up and no longer felt sleepy. She turned over and said, "You went to meet the parents? Are you going to propose marriage?" 80% of it. Oh, Mom, what should I do? Looking at her slightly bulging belly, Tang Weinian suddenly felt like the sky was falling. Chapter 20 Must marry him. Cry, cry, cry. You just know how to cry. I get angry when I see you look like a loser. Wang Lan was furious when she saw her daughter crying with her head down. Look at how cowardly you are. I give you all the advice, but you can't handle it. I don't believe that if you risk it, you can get into his bed. Now that they have gone to meet the parents, the next step is to propose marriage. Let me see what you will do. After hearing what Wang Lan said, Tang Weinian felt even more upset and couldn't help yelling, "Stop talking, it's all your fault. If you hadn't insisted on asking for a gift at the wedding, would we be like this now? You're blaming me again, you damned girl." Wang Lan was so angry that she was shaking all over. She was furious. Okay, even if it was wrong of me to ask for a gift at the wedding, then it's also my fault that you got pregnant. Was it me who made you get pregnant by fooling around with a random guy? I get angry when I talk about this. You are such a shameless girl that you don't even know who the father of your child is. If I were you, I would just bang my head against the wall and die. After Wang Lan finished speaking angrily, she felt that she had said too harshly. Tang Weinian buried her head in the quilt and burst into tears. All right, even if he goes, it won't necessarily work out. What kind of family does Lin Guan come from? Both his parents are high-ranking officials and intellectuals. It is said that Lin Guan's grandfather's family is even more prominent. For a peasant like him, it's considered a great achievement for him to be able to get in. Just wait. After he gets rejected at Lin Guan's house, he will definitely come back to find you. You must seize the opportunity and tie him up tightly. After hearing Wang Lan's words, Tang Weinian seemed to see hope again. She popped her head out from under the quilt and looked at Wang Lan with tears in her eyes. Really? Nonsense, I'm putting it this way, he will definitely get nothing in return. Wang Lan vowed. But Tang Weinian was still worried and asked, what if Lin Wan's parents agree to let them be together? What if? Wang Lan pondered for a moment, all kinds of thoughts running through her head. Suddenly, her eyes lit up, and she leaned close to her daughter's ear and muttered something. Is this possible? Tang Weinian was shocked, with some fear in her eyes. Wang Lan looked so disappointed in her daughter, her eyes sparkling as she looked at her disappointing daughter. I, Wang Lan, always do things decisively, so how could I have given birth to such an indecisive daughter like you? I'm telling you, it's time to take drastic measures. If you don't treat yourself harshly now, you won't even have time to cry when they get married. After hearing Wang Lan's words, Tang Weinian's eyes suddenly became much firmer and she nodded in agreement. This is my daughter. Remember, if you are not ruthless, you will not be popular. Women should be ruthless to themselves. Seeing that her daughter stopped crying after being patted, she got down from the edge of the can, patted her buttocks, and said, well, I'll go sit on the street and you wait for my news. After saying that, she went to the other room, scooped up half a scoop of steamed buns with a ladle, and went out of the yard to prepare to stake out the place. A little after 7 o'clock, Wang An and his two companions arrived at the gate of the Red Star Garment Factory on time. Just like yesterday, there were a lot of people waiting at the door. When they saw Wang An's donkey cart approaching, they immediately surrounded it. Oh my god! Seeing this, Lin Qinghua thought she had encountered bandits and couldn't help asking, are these people here to buy your spicy potato nuggets? There are still not enough people. Jiang Nian replied with a smile. Auntie, the spicy potato cubes made by Jiang Nian are really delicious. You can try them later and you will know why so many people are waiting to buy them. Lin Guan also said with a smile. Seeing Wang An setting up the stall and preparing to open it, Lin Guan was about to lend a hand, but was grabbed by Jiang Nian. Put it there. What's wrong? Lin Guan looked confused. Today you are my proud little princess. You are not allowed to do any work. Just accompany your aunt in the car. Be good and listen to me. Jiang Nian said affectionately. Lin Guan looked at her clothes, then looked at Jiang Nian's sincere face, with a hint of apology on her face. If I had known, I wouldn't have worn this. Jiang Nian smiled. The customer over there was already shouting, so he could only smile and start working immediately. Hey man, is that your girlfriend? A tall man, while buying potato chunks, couldn't help but glance at the donkey cart. Not only him, there was no man present who was not fascinated by Lin Guan. Isn't she the beautiful lady who came here the first time? She looks even more beautiful now. You are so lucky, brother. Jiang Nian had a smile on his face, and he didn't stop working at all. That's my wife. TSK, it's over, no chance. Hey, why can't I find such a beautiful wife? Brother, where did you find this wife? Everyone was joking and talking to each other. The busy Jiang Nian didn't seem so tired anymore. The most important thing was that he was going to meet Lin Guan's parents soon, so he was full of energy. And at this time, Lin Qinghua was staring at Jiang Nian busying around on the donkey cart with her eyes wide open, and was even more surprised when she saw Jiang Nian collecting money one by one. She had heard Lin Guan say before that Jiang Nian made money very quickly by setting up a stall, but when she saw it with her own eyes, she still felt that it was a bit unrealistic. My God, business is so booming, how much do you make in a day? On our first day out, we earned 57.5 yuan. I didn't know about yesterday, but with today's popularity, it's no problem for us to double the first day. Lin Guan replied with a smile. Lin Qinghua was completely stunned. Turning it over, that's $100, just for this morning. She looked at Lin Guan, then at Jiang Nian, and the more she looked at him, the more she liked him. My goodness, to earn this much money in one morning, wouldn't life be so comfortable? Others may not know, but Lin Qinghua knows it very well. Although her brother is a director, his salary is actually not that high, only more than 40 yuan a month. Jiang Nian's earnings in just one morning are equivalent to 2 months' salary of her brother. Xiao Wan, just marry him, and you will have a good life in the future. I will support you. Lin Guan covered his mouth and laughed. Aunt, why did you suddenly change your mind? Didn't you think highly of Jiang Nian before? That was before. Lin Qinghua looked at Jiang Nian and said slowly, he used to be lazy and good for nothing. He had nothing good to offer except for his good looks. Wouldn't it be a shame for you to marry him? Who would have thought that he could make so much money? Marry a man, you'll have clothes and food. He's smart and capable, and he's willing to hold you in his hands, so of course you have to marry him. Lin Qinghua couldn't stop smiling, and at this moment she truly agreed with Jiang Nian. In her opinion, when choosing a man, the first thing to look at is family conditions, followed by appearance. As for love, she has long since given up on it. Although Jiang Nian's family conditions are average, he is a potential stock. If you earn 100 yuan a day, that's 1,000 yuan in 10 days and 3,000 yuan a month. If you run this stall business for a few months, you will definitely become a millionaire with a monthly income of 10,000 yuan. How many millionaires are there in this area? Who else would I marry if not under such conditions? Chapter 21 Meeting the parents for the first time. It was almost 8 o'clock, and as the number of people decreased, Jiang Nian's potato cubes were sold out, and he hurriedly began to pack up his stall. Today's sales were obviously not as much as yesterday's, and there are still some left. This is normal. People's enthusiasm for something will gradually diminish, which is why commercial brands need to constantly launch new products. But Jiang Nian was not worried at all, he already had a plan in mind. There is still a little left today, and he doesn't plan to sell it. After all, there are more important things to do. Seeing Jiang Nian closing his stall, Lin Qinghua and Lin Guan stepped forward to help. Lin Qinghua couldn't help but ask how much money he had earned. I haven't calculated it, but I think it's around 180 yuan. I sold less today, probably because I was doing a promotion yesterday and everyone ate too much. I should be better in a few days. Is this not enough? Lin Qinghua was so surprised that she couldn't close her mouth. How could she know that Jiang Nian earned more than 160 yuan yesterday? Her knowledge limited her imagination. After quickly packing up the stall, Jiang Nian drove the donkey cart to the supply and marketing cooperative. To be honest, the supply and marketing cooperative at that time had everything, but the styles were too simple. Jiang Nian picked for a long time, and finally, with the help of Lin Guan, he chose a plaid shirt and a pair of flared trousers, which were the trend of the era. Although Jiang Nian didn't like it very much, he couldn't pick out a more fashionable style. I found a deserted place and changed my clothes. With the new clothes on, I immediately felt like a different person. Jiang Nian is good looking, 1.82 meters tall, with long legs, and a great figure, perfect for clothes. Clothes make the man, and saddles make the horse. Putting on this outfit makes you look different immediately. If you take this out to other girls and wives, won't they be so excited that their eyes will pop out? Lin Qinghua looked him up and down and couldn't help but praise him. Although she thinks that one doesn't need to care too much about appearance when looking for a partner, who can resist the temptation of a handsome man? At this moment, Lin Guan looked at Jiang Nian after he changed his clothes, her face flushed to the root of her neck, her eyes squinting. She couldn't help but look at him, but she felt shy, as if her soul had been taken away. Does it look good? Good looking. Lin Guan replied. You two are a perfect match, talented man and beautiful woman. You two are simply a match made in heaven. Even the boss of the supply and marketing cooperative couldn't help but praise him. Jiang Nian looked at himself in the mirror and felt that he looked pretty good, but a little green and immature, not mature enough. But when I think about it, it's 1983 now and I'm only 24 years old. It's the prime time of my youth, when I'm young and immature. Why should I be mature? This is the set, how much is it? Jiang Nian asked. The clothes are 5.2 yuan, the bell-bottom pants are 8.5 yuan, and the belt is 3.6 yuan, a total of 17.3 yuan. The boss calculated mentally. Jiang Nian took out a large stack of money from his pocket and paid the money. Then, Jiang Nian bought chicken, duck, fish, meat, toucan food, and a box of biscuits. After loading them into the cart, he drove the donkey cart towards Lin Guan's house under Lin Guan's guidance. Lin Guan, your parents won't be at home, right? Jiang Nian was a little worried. After all, Lin Guan hasn't been back for such a long time, and he doesn't know what's going on at home. If he's not at home, wouldn't his trip be in vain? No, my father may not be here because he is busy with work, but my mother is at home recently. She looks sad all day long and I don't know what she is thinking. Otherwise, I would not go to the countryside. Looking sad? Why? Jiang Nian asked in surprise. I don't know. It seems to be a work-related issue. I don't dare to say it, and I don't dare to ask. Jiang Nian nodded and didn't ask any more questions. Lin Guan's family lives in Triangle Hutong in the center of the county town, which is just wide enough for donkey carts to pass through. Compared to other places, this place is cleaner and tidier. Those who can live here are all of some status. Each courtyard is clean and tidy, with some flowers planted along the corners, giving off a faint fragrance. It's in front, just turn the corner and you'll arrive. Pointing at the boy's path, Lin Guan was already impatient to introduce the person he loved to his mother. Xiao Wan, there seems to be someone in your house. At this moment, Lin Qinghua stood up, looked around and said. When Jiang Nian parked the donkey cart at the door, he saw a Jifang brand bicycle parked in the yard and there seemed to be a figure flashing in the house. Lin Guan's yard is not big. There is an old well on the east side of the yard, vegetables are planted on both sides, and a jujube tree is planted next to the gate of the yard, with lush branches and leaves extending outside. Jiang Nian didn't care whether there was anyone inside or who they were. After stopping the donkey cart, he took the things down. At this time, someone seemed to hear some noise in the house. Soon two figures walked out. Lin Guan's mother looks very young, somewhat similar to Lin Guan, with a thin figure and a scholarly air. The other one was wearing a Zhongshan suit, had a square face, and had a bit of a leadership air. Oh, Xiao Wan is back, and she's getting more and more beautiful. As soon as he saw Lin Wan, the man said with a smile on his face. He even wanted to pinch Lin Wan's face, but was blocked by Jiang Nian. How could anyone touch my wife's face? Hey, who is this? My last name is Jiang, and my given name is Nian. Jiang Nian is Lin Wan's boyfriend. Uncle, you look like a decent person, so why do you touch a girl? Jiang Nian didn't want to get used to the old man's bad habits, so his voice was a little cold. Boyfriend. When some words came out, the man was stunned, and Lin Guan's mother was also stunned. After looking Jiang Nian up and down, the man laughed. I see, Shuzhen, you have guests at home today, so I'll leave first. Think about what I said, and give me an answer when you figure it out. The man glanced at Jiang Nian, smiled slightly, pushed his bicycle, and left the yard. Lin Guan's mother sent the people out of the yard. When she turned around, she glanced at Jiang Nian without saying much. Sister, please greet him for me first. I have something to ask Xiao Wan. After greeting Jiang Nian politely, she took Lin Wan to the backyard. Here, Lin Qinghua patted Jiang Nian on the shoulder and consoled him, taking his daughter to find out the situation. Don't worry, my sister-in-law is well educated and polite, and won't embarrass you. Let's go in and sit down first. Jiang Nian was not embarrassed either. Okay, I'll move the things in first. Jiang Nian pointed at the things in the car. The two moved the things into their house. Lin Qinghua poured a glass of water for Jiang Nian. Jiang Nian sat on a chair and had a panoramic view of Lin Wan's house. Although it is also a bungalow, it is full of luxury inside. There is a radio placed on the old mahogany furniture, and there is a box next to it that contains tapes. This item alone is not affordable for an average family. It costs at least more than 600 yuan to buy it now, and it is difficult to buy in the north. There were 2 photo frames hanging on the wall, containing some black and white photos. Jiang Nian found some photos of Lin Guan when he was a child in them. Between the 2 photo frames, there is a mechanical clock hanging, with its pendulum shaking, tick tick tick. Below it is a black and white mini TV, and a fan is whirring, making the temperature in the entire room cool and comfortable. Jiang Nian even found a classic old Invader game console on the cabinet. He didn't expect that Lin Guan's family had such a new thing, which shows how wealthy Lin Guan's family is. Chapter 22 Private Talk. No one knew what Lin Wan's mother and Lin Wan's wife were talking about in the back room. Wang Yan waited in the room for half an hour. Fortunately, Lin Qinghua was there to chat and keep him company. From Lin Qinghua, we learned that Lin Guan has 4 uncles. 2 of them went to the southern region to do business, one in Wenzhou and the other in Shanghai. The family is not short of money and they can always bring back some new and trendy things for home. Naturally, Lin Guan's family also benefited a lot. Jiang Nian admired in his heart that those who went into business in this era were all far-sighted, and all of them would become wealthy in the future. Of course, Lin Guan's uncle's foresight is not unrelated to their family background. Because of their family background, they have a good grasp of first-hand information and resources, so it is difficult for them not to make money. These 2 mothers have been chatting for too long. How can they leave her alone here? She is a lady from a wealthy family, well-educated and well-mannered. Lin Qinghua felt a little dissatisfied. She hated the idea that her sister-in-law looked down on rural people. After all, she was also a rural person. Counting back 1 generation, is there any family that is not a farmer? What happened to the farmers? Peasants are glorious. Aunt, don't worry. After all, Lin Guan's mother doesn't know our situation and needs to find out more. We just need to wait. Jiang Nian said with a smile. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard the sound of a door opening outside. Soon, the door of the house was pushed open. Lin Guan's mother walked in front, and Lin Guan followed behind her, his face obviously looking a little unnatural. Seeing this, Jiang Nian quickly stood up and faced it with a smile. Feeling the atmosphere was a bit awkward, Lin Qinghua immediately said with a smile, "Hey, you are finally back. What did you talk about for so long? You kept us waiting." Shuzhen, let me tell you, Jiang Nian is a good guy. Look at his appearance, he looks like a celebrity. Look at his height, I estimate he is about 1.82 meters. Your name is Jiang Nian, right? Before Lin Qinghua finished speaking, Lin Wan's mother asked directly. This made Lin Qinghua look a little unhappy. Yes, auntie, my name is Jiang Nian. Jiang Nian answered immediately, I didn't expect you to be so young and beautiful. To be honest, if you didn't know me, I would have thought you were Lin Wan's sister. Jiang Nian started to flatter as soon as he opened his mouth. As long as you are a woman, who wouldn't he like to be praised for being beautiful? Sure enough, after hearing Jiang Nian's words, Wei Shuzhen's serious face immediately showed a smile, touched her face, and said, "This child, he always tells lies, how can he be like what you said?" "Auntie, this is not nonsense." Jiang Nian smiled slightly, but did not continue to praise. If he said too much, it would seem a bit deliberate. He quickly said, "Oh, by the way, Auntie, I have a gift for you." Jiang Nian immediately rummaged through a bag at his feet and soon found two small boxes. The boxes were purple with bright flowers and the words, "bright and colorful," were written on them. This is the earliest skin care product, which holds a strong position in women's hearts. It was only sold for a few cents in the early days, but now it costs 1.5 yuan. Although it is not expensive, most women still cannot afford it. After all, 1.5 yuan can solve a big problem in daily household expenses. "I'm so embarrassed. It's not easy for you to earn money. You should take it back to your mother." Wei Shuzhen thought to herself, "This young man is quite capable, good-looking, and eloquent, but he is from the countryside after all," and she instinctively wanted to refuse. Jiang Nian was not willing to give her this opportunity, and quickly stuffed it into her hands, saying, "Auntie, this is for you. I'll buy another for my mom." Seeing Jiang Nian putting it in her hand, Wei Shuzhen found it even harder to refuse and could only accept it. When she addressed Jiang Nian again, her tone became much gentler and her address was also changed. "Xiao Jiang, I think you're a good person, but I still think you and Xiao Wan are not suitable. I don't have any prejudice against you country people, but I've experienced the pain of marrying a country man. Xiao Wan's father has a lot of bad habits. When I fell in love with him, I was just hot-headed and didn't think it was a big deal. But after I married him, living together was not the same thing. You know what I mean." "Oh, Mom." Lin Guan suddenly became a little anxious. Lin Qinghua, who was standing by, couldn't help but roll her eyes when she heard this. "Aunt, I fully understand your concerns. You should be happy as well as Lin Wan. Don't follow your old path and marry someone who is loving and harmonious with you. However, nothing is absolute. I am not Lin Wan's father, and I don't believe that you and Lin Wan's father have no happiness at all. Otherwise, you would have divorced long ago. In terms of love, I always believe that if you can't be happy with someone you love, then how can you be happy with someone you don't love?" These words made Wei Shuzhen stunned for 2 seconds. She looked at the young man in front of her. Whether it was his eloquence, height, or appearance, he was outstanding. She even saw a hint of calmness and confidence in Jiang Nian that he shouldn't have at his age. "Shuzhen, Jiang Nian is right. There is no such thing as a perfect man. When two people live together, the most important thing is to be happy. Jiang Nian is not only good-looking, but also has the ability to make money. He is now setting up a stall and can make more than 100 yuan a day. With this speed of making money, can he not give Xiao Wan the life she wants? Setting up a stall." Wei Shuzhen was a little surprised. "Yes, Auntie. Since the country has implemented reform and opening up, cities in major southern regions have already seen an economic boom. I also responded to the country's call and set up a stall in the city. My business is pretty good," Jiang Nian said. When Wei Shuzhen heard this, she looked at Jiang Nian and was speechless for a long time. She had never expected that the young man in front of her had such insight. "You know, this policy has been implemented in the north for a long time, and the results have not been ideal. People stick to their iron rice bowls in factories, and no one is willing to go into business, for fear that the policy will change and they will become sinners of speculation. In such an environment, being able to set up a stall proves that he has a certain amount of courage." At this moment, he looked at the boy in front of him with a higher opinion again, which made her involuntarily become curious about this boy. "Xiao Wan, you and your aunt go to the west room first. Xiao Jiang and I will have a good talk. Mom, is there anything you can't say in front of me?" Lin Guan was a little reluctant, fearing that her mother would embarrass Jiang Nian. "It's okay, I'll talk to my aunt alone, you don't have to worry," Jiang Nian said with a smile. After hearing what Jiang Nian said, and knowing that he couldn't change his mother's mind, Lin Wan could only put on a gloomy face and walked out with Lin Qinghua. "Aunt, do you think my mother won't make things difficult for Jiang Nian?" As soon as Lin Guan sat down in the west room, he couldn't help but ask worriedly. "That's hard to say. With your mother's personality, it's hard for ordinary people to serve her. She won't listen to anything I say. I'm unnecessary here today. You, just wish you good luck." Lin Qinghua said with some unhappiness in her heart. This made Lin Wan very anxious. She clenched her fists, not knowing what to do. She said uneasily, if my mother doesn't agree, I will tell her that I'm pregnant. Chapter 23. Lin Guan's mother's attitude changes. What? Lin Qinghua was shocked when she heard Lin Guan's words. She saw that Lin Guan didn't seem to be joking, and when she thought about the flirting between Lin Guan and Jiang Nian, she suddenly had a bad feeling. Tell me the truth, you two wouldn't really. Lin Qinghua couldn't finish her words halfway through. What would happen if it really happened? A girl's innocence is heavier than a mountain. If she really did it, no man would dare to marry her in the future. She would have no choice but to marry Jiang Nian. Lin Guan lowered his head, like a child who had made a mistake, and nodded gently. This damned bastard. Lin Qinghua gritted her teeth and was about to stand up. I'm going to settle accounts with him. Isn't he a beast in human form? Don't. Lin Wan grabbed Lin Qinghua, stared at her aggrievedly, and said, Aunt, don't go. I volunteered. Besides, brother Jiang Nian will be responsible for me. Isn't he coming to my house to propose marriage? What if we were talking about it well, but now you want to make a scene, and my mother still doesn't agree, what should I do then? When Lin Qinghua heard this, she had no choice but to give up. She couldn't help but blame Lin Guan when she looked at him. You stupid girl, you are so stupid. Once you give your body to him, he has you under his control. You have no choice but to marry him. This bastard is such a piece of shit. Even if you get married, you won't be able to beat him. If he treats you badly, you will suffer. Aunt, no, I believe in brother Jiang Nian. Lin Guan said. In fact, she is still a little worried in her heart. After all, people change. She has dreams about marriage and prospects for the future, but at the same time she is also afraid of the unknown. You? Lin Qinghua didn't know what to say. He could only helplessly point his finger at Lin Guan's forehead. I hope he can treat you well, you silly girl. Lin Qinghua was helpless. At this time, she could only promote the marriage of Lin Guan and Jiang Nian as much as possible, and not let more people know about it, so as not to ruin Lin Guan's reputation. When Jiang Nian comes out, even if your mother disagrees, you can't tell her that you are pregnant. Your mother will definitely not be able to accept it, and who knows what will happen then. What should we do then? Lin Guan asked anxiously. It's okay, leave it to me. I'll discuss it with your father later. Your father listens to me the most. Lin Qinghua said. Lin Guan nodded. Lin Guan's grandfather died early, and his grandmother was in poor health for many years. The family was poor at that time, and it was all thanks to Lin Qinghua's hard work to raise Lin Qiusheng. Even when Lin Qiusheng went to college, because his family had no money, Lin Qinghua married herself to an old bachelor from the same village for 15 yuan, and only then did Lin Qiusheng have the opportunity to go to college. As a result, Lin Qinghua became a widow at a young age. Lin Qiusheng has deep feelings for his sister and feels even more guilty, so he will most likely listen to what Lin Qinghua says. With his aunt's assurance, Lin Guan felt more relieved. An unknown amount of time had passed, but Lin Guan was still feeling uneasy until they heard the door opening. They immediately pricked up their ears to listen, afraid of missing a single word. Aunt, then it's settled. I'll go back today, pick a good day, bring my parents, and come back to propose marriage. Okay, then go back and say hello to your parents for me. The two who heard the conversation looked at each other in shock. What's going on? Did your mother agree? It seems so. Lin Wan couldn't help but get excited. At this moment, she heard Wei Shuzhen's voice, Xiao Wan, Xiao Jiang is leaving. Come out and see him off. When Lin Guan heard this, he immediately opened the door and went out, and asked excitedly, Mom, do you agree? Wei Shuzhen smiled and nodded. Hurry up and send Xiao Jiang off. Don't go back with her. Wait at home for Xiao Jiang to come over and formally propose marriage. Upon hearing this, Lin Guan excitedly threw himself on Wei Shuzhen and couldn't help but kiss her on the face. Mom, I love you so much. All right, look at yourself. You're about to get married, but you're still acting like a child. Wei Shuzhen had a smile on her face. Sister, don't go back with me. You finally come here, stay at home for a few days before going back. Okay, that's great. I miss Qiusheng too. Lin Qinghua agreed happily. Lin Guan took Jiang Nian's arm and followed him out excitedly. At this moment, she still found it hard to believe her mother's sudden change in attitude towards Jiang Nian. It was not until he walked outside the yard and saw Jiang Nian harnessing the donkey cart that he asked doubtfully, "What are you talking about? Why did my mother agree so directly? Her attitude before was very firm." Jiang Nian laughed immediately. "We didn't say much, just chatting about family matters. Your mother isn't as difficult to deal with as you said." Lin Guan curled his lips. "I'm talking to you seriously. What did you say?" Lin Guan was a little anxious. Jiang Nian shrugged. "I didn't really say anything. I just talked about my plans and prospects for the future. Isn't your mother studying economics recently? I also talked to her about economic issues and China's economic development in the next 30 years. What? You also understand economics?" Lin Guan was surprised. She knew that Wei Shuzhen was studying economic theory, but economics was obscure and difficult to understand, and her mother had not received a Western education, so she couldn't understand many things. Because of this matter, she was often worried. Jiang Nian nodded. His master's degree in economics in his previous life was not in vain. Moreover, he was well versed in the economic development of New China in the first 30 years. How could he not be able to solve Lin Guan's mother's problem? It was this knowledge that completely conquered Wei Shuzhen. Of course, Lin Guan didn't believe Jiang Nian's words at all. Jiang Nian has never been to school and can't read a single word, so how can he understand economics? After seeing Jiang Nian off, she returned to the yard. Wei Shuzhen immediately stepped forward, took Lin Guan's hand and asked, "Xiao Wan, tell mom the truth, is Xiao Jiang really from the countryside? How could it be false? I watched that child grow up. He was naughty and troublemaking since he was young. He rolled around in other people's fields and pulled up a sweet potato seedling. He rolled around and pulled up a sweet potato seedling. He went home and got a beating from Brother Jiang." Before Lin Guan could answer, Lin Qinghua spoke up. Lin Guan also nodded. "So he never went to school?" Lin Guan continued to shake his head. "How could that be? This child's speech and behavior definitely showed that he has received higher education. Especially his understanding of economics, he can definitely be a teacher in a university." Wei Shuzhen was extremely confused. "Mom, did he really talk to you about economics?" Lin Guan was also a little surprised. Wei Shuzhen nodded, looked at her daughter, and said with a smile on her face, "Xiao Wan, no matter what, Xiao Jiang will definitely have a bright future. It's definitely a good idea to marry him. Mom will guarantee it with her life." Lin Guan was immediately overjoyed. This was something she had never expected. "Mom, is Brother Jiang Nian really that good?" Lin Wan looked at Wei Shuzhen with a red face. She recalled her mother's attitude when she just returned home and questioned her. It was like two completely different people. She just felt funny in her heart. "Trust my mother, it's right." Chapter 20 for this vigor is like his mother. At this time, Jiang Nian's home. The old couple sat in the yard, feeling a little nervous. After all, it was their first time to meet Lin Guan's parents. They knew best what their son was like. In addition, the gap between the backgrounds of the two families was too great, which made the old couple seem a little uneasy. According to the plan, Jiang Nian would go to Lin Guan's house after setting up his stall. If everything went well, he should be home by now. Wang Hong, the mother, stood anxiously at the gate of the yard, looking towards the other end of the village road. "Dad, do you think Lin Guan's parents will disagree?" Jiang Dahai puffed on his cigarette. "It's normal to disagree. What kind of family is ours? What kind of family is theirs? If it were me, I wouldn't want my daughter to suffer when she married into this family." "What are you talking about? Why should I suffer after marrying into this family? Our son is so capable of making money, and his future life won't necessarily be worse than hers. Besides, we are not the vicious mother-in-law or unreasonable father-in-law of other families. I promise to love Lin Wan like my own daughter after she marries me, so how can I let her suffer?" Wang Hong glanced at the street again, and seeing that there was still no movement, she didn't want to waste time talking to Jiang Dasan, a blockhead, and said, "I'll go out and take a look." After saying that, he walked out of the yard. Although she disagreed with Jiang Dashan's words, she knew in her heart that it was the fact. Nowadays, people still pay attention to marrying someone of equal social status. If his son could marry Lin Guan, even if he was a failure in the future, his life would not be bad. After all, Lin Guan's family was well off, and a little arrangement would be better than working hard at home. Therefore, she really liked Lin Guan. Because of this, I was even more afraid that my son would fail this time. After walking for a distance, she didn't see her son, but she saw Wang Lan cracking pumpkin seeds under a big willow tree on the street. She was wearing a floral short-sleeved dress with her trouser legs rolled up high. She looked very relaxed and occasionally looked towards the village entrance. As soon as she saw Wang Lan, Wang Hong was furious. She thought that she had not yet gotten her betrothal gift back, and now that she happened to meet her, she had to talk to her about it. But Wang Lan had sharp eyes, and she noticed Wang Hong before she even got close to her. Her heart skipped a beat and she thought to herself that something was wrong. This old lady Wang is not Jiang Dasan. She looks so aggressive. I'm afraid she wants to ask for a dowry from her. Thinking about it, he lifted his butt, pretended he didn't see it, and ran to his own yard. Wang Lan, stop right there. Seeing Wang Lan was about to run, Wang Hong rushed up and grabbed Wang Lan's wrist. You ran away when you saw me, and you still know that you have done something wrong. Stop talking nonsense and give me the betrothal gift. Dowry? What do you mean by bride price? Wang Lan immediately used her best tricks and said, let me go right now. I have a heart disease. If I make you angry, even if I sell your land, it won't be enough to pay for my medical expenses. Don't try to play tricks on me. You may be good at dealing with our old Jiang, but you are no match for me. I'm telling you, even if you die in front of me today, you have to give me the betrothal gift. I won't give it to you. What can you do to me? Wang Lan said with a dead pig fearless, I still say the same thing. Either your Jiang Nian marries our Wan Ying, or you want to get the betrothal gift back, which is impossible. Upon hearing this, Wang Hong burst into laughter out of anger. You shameless old man, are you crazy about marrying off your daughter? Didn't you ask for a lot of money at the wedding before? You even want our Jiang Nian to marry your Wan Ying. Your attitude has changed 180 degrees. I'm afraid your Wan Ying is pregnant with someone's bastard, and you're anxious to find a bastard father for the child in your belly. These were just Wang Hong's nonsense words in anger, but she never expected that what she said actually came true. Wang Lan was so scared that her face turned blue and purple, and she looked furious and ashamed as if she had been exposed. Bar. Old Mrs. Wang, what nonsense are you talking about? Do you believe I will tear your mouth apart? As he said this, he tried to shake off Wang Hong's hand. However, Wang Hong was 1.76 meters tall and very strong. She also worked hard on the farm. It was impossible for the lazy Wang Lan to break free. The struggle was not a big deal, but her wrist was sore. She grimaced and slapped Wang Hong in the face in anger. However, he was grabbed by Wang Hong again. Seeing that he was no match for her, his face changed suddenly. He sat down on the ground, rolling on the ground and howling loudly. Someone come, help. Old Mrs. Wen is beating people. Ouch my arm. Ouch my head. Ouch my hip. Oh my god, there is no law when someone is beaten. Wang Hong was so angry that she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She pointed at Wang Lan on the ground and said angrily, you shameless old scoundrel, you are such a scoundrel. Just roll around here and I will beat you. If you don't return the betrothal gift to me today, I will beat you to death. After saying that, he broke off a willow branch from the big willow tree and sat down next to Wang Lan. If Wang Lan dared to stand up, he would hit her. At this moment, Wang Lan was regretting her decision to the core. Among all the old women in the whole village, she is the most rude one, Wang Hong is the most tough one, and Jiang Nian's toughness comes from his mother. It was also because Wang Hong had been in poor health in recent years and could not get angry, so her temper had become much more restrained, and she had forgotten about this woman's evil deeds. At this time, she was shouting and praying that someone around her could hear her and come to rescue her. But it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, who wouldn't go to work in the fields? In addition, she was usually a scoundrel and unreasonable, and her relationships with people around her had long been ruined, and no one was willing to care about her when they heard about it. Old Lady Li from the east yard came out. Wang Lan thought she was saved, but unexpectedly the old lady handed her walking stick to her. Girl, use this, your willow stick won't hurt when you hit someone. Wang Lan was so angry at these words that she almost jumped up. When she saw Wan Hong trying to take the stick, she was so scared that she immediately got up from the ground and ran away. "You old lady, you are such a piece of shit." She didn't dare to scold Wan Hong, so she took out all her anger on old Mrs. Li, and the scolding was extremely harsh. "Why don't I beat you to death? You're a man-raising wife, you're a natural disaster. You're a man-made thing, you won't be able to eat for dishes in your life." The old lady had difficulty walking, but she cursed very dirty. She turned around and accused Wan Hong, "You should beat her to death. You don't have chickens at home or something, but you come to steal eggs every day. You come to steal eggs every day. Are they so delicious? Why doesn't he knock out her teeth?" Old Lady Li was over 80 years old. Wan Hong was afraid that she would get angry again and hurt herself, so she hurried to comfort her. Only then did the old lady go home cursing and leaning on her crutches. "This Wan Lan is a piece of shit. You stole the eggs from Mrs. Li, who is so old. Are you still a human being?" Just as Wan Hong was complaining in a low voice, she heard the sound of a donkey cart. When she looked closely, she saw it was Jiang Nian. Seeing Jiang Nian coming back, he immediately wiped his hands on himself. "Oh my god, I almost forgot something." Chapter 25, Choosing a Date. Wan Hong approached him anxiously and asked, "Son, how are you?" "Mom, it's done." Jiang Nian was also somewhat happy. "Mother Lin Wan is very satisfied with me. Let's pick a good day and come to propose marriage formally." "Real?" After hearing Jiang Nian's answer, Wan Hong was so happy that he couldn't stop grinning, and he even wished he could get higher. "My son is awesome. Come on, go home and tell your father that we can discuss a date and come to propose marriage. The sooner the better." Wan Hong sat on the donkey cart, excitedly urging Jiang Nian, and then asked Jiang Nian to tell her what happened today when they went to Lin Guan's house. The donkey cart was heading towards the door of the house. At the gate of the yard, Wang Lan secretly poked her head out and watched the donkey cart go away, her eyes darting around. "Oh no, this kid Jiang Nian is really favored by Lin Guan's parents? It's over, it looks like I have to implement the second plan. I have to go back and tell Wei Nian." When the donkey cart entered the yard, Wan Hong couldn't help but jump down and shouted happily, old man, my son is back. My son said that Lin Guan's family agreed and asked us to pick a good day to propose marriage." As soon as he ran into the yard, only then did they see that Jiang Dahai and his wife were also there. When they heard Wan Hong shouting, Jiang Nian also came into the yard, and they all stood up in unison. "What? Agreed. Then we have to choose a good day. Oh, I've said it's possible a long time ago. Our little elder is so handsome, who wouldn't like him?" Second aunt walked forward with a smile on her face, tiptoed to look into the donkey cart, and saw that there was nothing inside. She felt a little disappointed. But she turned around and immediately put on a smiling face, "Lin Guan's family is well off. As long as we make some arrangements for Xiao Nian, her future life will not be bad. It can be said that our Xiao Nian has the vision and ability to get such a good girl like Lin Guan. Xiao Nian, you will definitely be rich in the future. When that time comes, don't forget your uncle and aunt. They love you very much." Jiang Nian smiled and responded, "That can't be done." Jiang Nian didn't have a particularly deep affection for his second uncle and second aunt, especially this second aunt, who would take advantage of small things without suffering any loss, and would bite the bullet for everything. Before the family split up, there was a lot of chaos in her family. Ever since her grandparents passed away, she was the one who was jumping around to divide the family property. Only after the family property was divided did the two families finally settle down. In the past, when her family was in financial difficulty, she basically never set foot in their home. Now, seeing that Jiang Nian was able to make money and had such a good girlfriend, she was thinking if she could take advantage of him. At this time, Jiang Dasan stepped forward and couldn't help asking, "What did you say? If you really agree, let's prepare well." "Dad, I really agree." Jiang Nian nodded and said, "Mother Lin Guan said that the wedding should be done as soon as possible, so let's pick a good day and go to propose marriage." Okay. Jiang Dasan, who was not very good at expressing his emotions, said, "Okay," 3 times in a row, and then asked, "Did you tell me how much do you want for the betrothal gift? What are the 3 major items you want?" Jiang Nian shook his head. "That hasn't been discussed yet. Kid, can't you ask clearly about this matter? If the other party asks too much, how can we afford it? Upon hearing Jiang Nian's words, Wang Hong immediately complained. Oh sister-in-law, we will give you whatever dowry you want. If you don't have any, I will give it to his second uncle. This is not a big deal. The second aunt looked generous and said, besides, Lin Wan's family is so rich, how could they not need your little dowry? What they want is our attitude. If you give a lot of dowry, they will have face, and the dowry for Lin Wan will definitely be no small amount. To put it bluntly, when Jiang Nian marries Lin Wan, she will arrange a job for him. How much money can he not get back? After that, second aunt smiled and looked at Jiang Nian, saying, Xiao Nian, do you have any more money? I can still afford 100 yuan. If you don't have any money, just open your mouth and second aunt will definitely not blink an eye. Jiang Nian wanted to laugh in his heart. He remembered clearly that the last time he married Tang Weining, his family had no money and could not afford the bride price, so his father Jiang Dasan first found his second uncle Jiang Dahai. I originally wanted to borrow 50 yuan, but seeing that my second uncle was about to take out the money, my second aunt jumped out and gave me a lot of face, and reluctantly took out 10 yuan. Second aunt is really very thoughtful. Jiang Nian didn't argue with him and responded with a smile, thank you, second auntie. I have the money, don't worry. Although he only has more than 100 yuan in his hand now, but according to the current income from stalls, he can collect 500 yuan in 3 to 5 days. A betrothal gift of 500 yuan is not a small amount in the city, and most people cannot afford it. I believe that Lin Guan's family will not complain. That's good. Jiang Nian is really capable. Second aunt will be relieved. Then let's study it quickly and choose a date to see when is the right time to come and propose marriage. After hearing what second aunt said, Mother Wang Hong immediately went into their house, took out the half-torn calendar hanging on the wall, and began to look through it. I think the day after tomorrow would be a good day. Didn't Xiaowan's mother say that the sooner the better? Then how about the day after tomorrow? Wang Hong was a little anxious. It's too early. Jiang Dasan smoked a cigarette, looked at the calendar, and said, we have to prepare. You guys are just meddling in this. It's up to us to decide which day to propose marriage. You have to pick a few dates and send them to Lin Guan's family. Once they have chosen one, we can go and propose marriage. Look at me, I'm so happy that I'm confused. Okay, let's pick a few. Mother Wang Hong and second aunt started looking through the calendar. Jiang Nian had nothing to do, so he tied up the donkey cart, fed the donkey some fodder, and climbed up to the roof using the ladder. His parents had already put the hazelnuts up there to dry in the sun. Generally, if it doesn't rain, it takes 5 to 7 days to dry the nuts, and then you can shell the hazelnuts. However, it also needs to be turned over during the entire process to avoid signs of mold underneath and the taste of hazelnuts inside. This is all money. After grabbing a handful, Jiang Nian was thinking about how to sell these hazelnuts and then renovate his house. Nowadays, my house is made of mud and is full of dust, smoke, and a little dark. There is even no glass and the windows are covered with paper. He wanted to build a large, bright bungalow for his family. As I was thinking about it, I suddenly heard a shout, and saw Erlangzi jogging into the yard. Jiang Nian, hurry up, follow me, Tang Weining is in trouble. Something happened. What happened? Jiang Nian was stunned at first, then asked quickly. Come with me quickly. Tang Weining heard that you went to Lin Guan's house to propose marriage, and she is trying to commit suicide at home. Erlangzi looked anxious. This time, not only Jiang Nian was stunned. Jiang Nian's parents, uncle and aunt in the yard were all stunned. No. After a 2-second pause, Jiang Nian answered simply. His intuition told him that Tang Weining was up to something again. If I go, who knows what kind of trouble I might get into. He had just gained the approval of Lin Guan's mother and was about to formally propose marriage, so no accidents could happen now. I say, why are you so cold-blooded? After all, you liked her before. She has been banging her head against the wall at home. If you don't go, she will bang her head against the wall again. Seeing Jiang Nian indifferent, Erlangzi became anxious. Tang Weining's head was broken and bleeding, it was so scary. Jiang Nian, why don't you go take a look to see if anything really happens? Seeing Erlangzi's anxious look, Jiang Dasan was afraid that something might really happen, so he spoke quickly. Helpless, Jiang Nian nodded and came down from the roof. Seeing this, Mother Wang Hong was a little worried, so she held Jiang Nian and carefully told him, "Go back, you have to be careful, don't let them fool you. You are about to go to Lin Guan's house to propose marriage, you can't be confused." "Don't worry, Mom. I know what's going on." Chapter 26. Tang Weining is making trouble again. The yard of Tang Weining's house was already full of people, all talking at once, in a chaotic manner. This girl Tang Weining is crazy. How can she be so depressed at such a young age? Who says it's not? I heard that she couldn't let go of Jiang Nian. Today, I heard that Jiang Nian went to Lin Guan's house to meet his parents to discuss the marriage proposal, so she was stimulated. What's the point of trying to commit suicide? When old lady Wang asked for a lot of money at the wedding, she didn't say a word, which was considered as tacit approval of her mother's behavior. If she had known this would happen, she wouldn't have done it in the first place. Before Jiang Nian entered the yard, he heard the discussions of the crowd. At the same time, he also heard the ghostly howling of Wang Lan in the house. Jiang Nian felt frightened when he heard the voice. His intuition told him that Tang Weining and her daughter were making trouble today, and he regretted coming here. "Hey, hurry up, stop dawdling." Seeing Jiang Nian was taking his time, Erlangzi became anxious and angry. He really couldn't understand why Jiang Nian, who used to like Tang Weining so much, was so cold towards her now. Even if the marriage didn't happen, you wouldn't be so hard-hearted. When the villagers in the yard saw Jiang Nian enter the yard, they all looked over and made way for him. Jiang Nian entered the house. Wang Lan sat on the ground and burst into tears. "Weining, my Weining, if anything happens to you, I won't live anymore." Wang Lan looked like she was dying, while Tang Weining was lying on the kang sobbing softly. The village barefoot doctor was applying medicine to her. "Uncle Dequan, how is it?" Seeing this scene, Jiang Nian felt somewhat uneasy. Even though he no longer loved her, he didn't hope for anything to happen to her, so he asked with concern. Li Dequan is the only barefoot doctor in the village. He was an educated youth who went to the countryside. Later he stayed in the village to do his research on Chinese herbal medicine. His medical skills are very high. He treats all the villagers' major and minor illnesses, and everyone respects him very much. "It's okay, just a minor bump. I'll be fine after a few days of rest," Li Dequan replied. Hearing this, Wang An felt relieved immediately. However, Wang Lan became anxious when she heard this. "What are you talking about? What do you mean it was just a slight bump? My daughter's head is so swollen. Didn't you see the bump? Do you know how to treat a disease?" This made Li Dequan's face turn red with anger. He said with some dissatisfaction, "I am only telling the truth." "What truth do you mean? I think you don't know how to treat a disease. Go, 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 go." As he said that, he pushed Li Dequan out. Everyone couldn't understand this scene. What's going on? Everyone knows Li Dequan's medical skills and he has never made a mistake in making a diagnosis. What, does she still hope that something happens to her daughter or something? No one understood, but Jiang Nian had already come to his senses. Seeing Li Dequan said it was okay and was being pushed away, he didn't want to stay any longer, so he turned around and was about to leave. "Jiang Nian, don't go." Tang Weining, who was lying on the kang sobbing, suddenly grabbed Jiang Nian's wrist. She raised her forehead slightly, her eyes showing grievance and tears, and anyone who saw her would be moved. "Uncle Dequan said you are fine, so I feel relieved. Live a good life and don't do anything stupid." Jiang Nian sighed and said in a low voice. Jiang Nian didn't want to waste any time at this moment. He pushed Tang Weining's hand away and turned to leave. Who would have thought that Tang Weining would rush over to him and hug Jiang Nian tightly, sobbing non-stop. "Jiang Nian, don't leave me, please. I really can't live without you. Let go of your hand first." Jiang Nian's face was dark. He glanced out the window. The villagers who were watching the excitement had already stared with their eyes wide open. "What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Let's go, let's go." Wang Lan was so happy to see her daughter succeed. She thought that the fat meat in her mouth must not fly away, so she immediately put on the posture of a shrew and drove the villagers out of the yard. After kicking the men out, she locked the door directly, then ran back and quickly locked it. She sat happily under the eaves, secretly listening to the noise inside. "Where can you run to? You're going to be my cheap father for sure." Inside the house, Tang Weinian hugged Jiang Nian tightly, almost using all her strength to suckle her breast, with her face pressed tightly against Jiang Nian's back, trying her best to let Jiang Nian feel her body temperature. Let go of your hands. Jiang Nian was already getting a little impatient. He had promised Lin Wan that he would never give Tang Weinian such an opportunity again, but he never thought that in less than 2 days, he would be fooled again. Look at Tang Weinian, she is so strong, how does she look like she is injured? I won't let go. Tang Weinian choked up, Jiang Nian, I really regret it. Please don't do this to me, okay? Tang Weinian, who was hugging Jiang Nian tightly, looked pale and confused. Whenever she thought of Jiang Nian and Lin Guan meeting her parents and about to propose marriage, she felt extremely uncomfortable. And this man knelt down on one knee in front of her just a month ago and asked her to marry him with the most sincere oath. Although she was not sincere at that time, when she was about to lose him, she realized how good Jiang Nian was. Thinking of how Jiang Nian treated her like a princess and how she was held high above everyone else, she regretted how foolish she was to not stop her mother Wang Lan from making such a foolish move of asking for an exorbitant price at the wedding. The huge difference in Jiang Nian's attitude towards her made her feel aggrieved, and she couldn't help but shed tears, soon wetting Jiang Nian's clothes. Jiang Nian, I know you still have me in your heart. You used to love me so much and couldn't bear to see me suffer any injustice. How could you be so cold to me now? All this is just a disguise. But you succeeded. I found that I had already fallen for your sweet words. Now I am willing to lower my proud head. As long as you don't treat me like this, how about we pick a good day and get married? I will return all the betrothal gifts to you. I don't want a penny. Tang Weinian's tone was extremely humble. I've told you very clearly that the person I like now is Lin Guan. It's impossible for us to be together. Let go of your hand, or I'll break it. You know I'm strong, and I won't be responsible if I hurt you. Jiang Nian said in a deep voice. Hearing Jiang Nian's words, Tang Weinian's eyes flashed with determination. She slowly let go of his hand and said in a somewhat desperate voice, in this case, you can go. When you are happy in the future, remember that there was a girl who once loved you deeply. What Jiang Nian didn't expect was that after Tang Weinian finished speaking, she actually rushed directly to the wall in front of her. Jiang Nian was so scared that he grabbed her and slapped her in the face, shouting, What are you doing? Do you want to die? If you want to die, don't die in front of me. This time, Jiang Nian was really scared. Tang Weinian was very fast and it didn't seem like she was acting at all. If he hadn't been quick-eyed and quick-handed, he would have really bumped into her. Maybe it was because she felt aggrieved or because Jiang Nian slapped her in the face, but Tang Weinian burst into tears with a wow. Woo-woo tilde just let me die, woo-woo. Chapter 27 You don't deserve to be in bed with me. Seeing Tang Weinian crying, Jiang Nian became more and more upset. At this time, there were only 2 of them in the room. If he left, who knows what Tang Weinian might do. Tang Weinian, there are some things we can't say too clearly, otherwise it will be embarrassing for everyone. I did like you before, but I don't like you anymore. I hope you won't pester me anymore, let alone seek death. Let's part ways in peace. Jiang Nian's words deeply hurt Tang Weinian's heart. With a trace of sadness in her eyes, she looked at Jiang Nian and said, Is it because I didn't get into bed with you? Tang Weinian's sudden words caught Jiang Nian off guard. He didn't know how to answer for a moment and was stunned for 2 seconds. It's just getting into bed, I can do that too. As she spoke, Tang Weinian unbuttoned her clothes, revealing nothing inside. The clothes slid down her fair skin, revealing her graceful curves in front of Jiang Nian. I have to say that Tang Weinian has a really good figure. The smooth jade back and slender waist outlined an extremely graceful curve, and their white skin like solidified fat was as beautiful as a jade carving, causing Jiang Nian's face to flush and his mouth to dry. He is a man, and it would be a lie to say that he was not moved. When he saw such a perfect figure, his blood boiled. Outside the window, Wang Lan, who had been watching, couldn't help but be delighted, thinking, Great. This is my daughter. I don't believe that he wouldn't be tempted by such a good figure. What are you doing? Don't you care about your dignity anymore? Put on your clothes quickly. Jiang Nian said with a gloomy face. He was moved, but he loved Lin Guan more. He has made up his mind to love only Lin Guan in this life, so how could he make a mistake? What face do I have left after losing you? It's like this anyway. If you don't get in bed with me, I'll shout, help, and call all the villagers to come. Let's see what you can do. Tang Weining seemed to have found Jiang Nian's weak spot. She looked at him teasingly and pressed her seductive body against him. Jiang Nian is tall and strong, handsome, good to her, and good at making money. He will definitely be able to provide her and her children with a happy and stable life in the future. So, we must take him down this time. Jiang Nian felt a headache. He didn't expect that Tang Weining now had no sense of shame at all. However, Tang Weining was indeed beautiful, with black hair, thick eyebrows, big eyes, and fair and delicate skin. Anyone who saw her would feel their blood boiling and their nose would steam. In his previous life, Jiang Nian was dazzled by her pure and beautiful appearance and curvy figure. In this life, he would never repeat the same mistake. Seeing that Tang Weining's charming body was about to approach him, Jiang Nian dodged quickly, leaving Tang Weining empty-handed. Please respect yourself. Jiang Nian's face was gloomy, and his voice was even colder. You don't deserve me to get into bed with you. If you want to call someone, then go ahead. Anyway, I am not afraid of being embarrassed. I tell you clearly that even if you call someone and they think I molested you, I will not marry you. By then, your reputation will be ruined, and I wonder who will dare to marry you. Tang Weining was completely stunned. Jiang Nian didn't want to waste time talking to her, so he turned around, opened the door and was about to leave. However, he found the door was locked. He was so angry that he kicked the door open, demolishing the house. Seeing Jiang Nian kicking the door open, Wang Lan was frightened and was about to stop him, but Jiang Nian turned around and glared at her, which frightened her so much that she quickly shrank her neck and stood there in a daze. It was not until Jiang Nian left the yard that he started to curse, useless trash, my daughter threw herself into your arms, but you were still indifferent. I'm afraid you are not good enough in that aspect. How dare you glare at me? If I didn't want to be your cheap dad, who would bother with you? Outside the yard, on the street. Erlangzi is still waiting. Seeing Jiang Nian coming out angrily, he immediately rushed over and asked anxiously, Jiang Nian, how are you okay? Looking at Erlangzi's eyes, Jiang Nian noticed something strange. Is this kid worrying too much? If you're worried, just go in and take a look yourself, don't ask me. Oh, by the way, if Tang Weining has any problems in the future, don't come to my house to find me. I've been through with her for a long time, and her problems have nothing to do with me. Watching Jiang Nian leave, Erlangzi was stunned for 2 seconds, and then he wanted to go to Tang Weining's house worriedly. However, Tang Weining was still in dishevel at this time, so how could Wang Lan let him in? She blocked him at the gate of the yard in a bad mood. Xiaonian, what's going on? As soon as Jiang Nian entered the yard, his mother Wang Hong came forward anxiously and asked. Seeing her son's face, she knew that Wang Lan and her daughter were making trouble on the 8th floor again. I think you shouldn't go. What does it have to do with us whether she lives or not? If she wants to die, let her die. What nonsense! Hearing Mother Wang Hong say this, Father Jiang Dasan immediately scolded, what if something really happens to the child? You have to control your mouth in the future and don't say anything. Mother Wang Hong rolled her eyes. You old man, you are the only one who has sympathy and compassion. I am the bad guy, okay? If you ask me, the 8th floor is the old woman who saw that our son made more money and regretted it. She used a cruel trick on her daughter. Son, you can't be confused. No matter which aspect you compare, Lin Wan is better than Tang Weining. You are about to get engaged. If you get involved with Tang Weining again, I will not forgive you. Fearing that her son would be bewitched by Tang Weining again, Wang Hong hurriedly gave him instructions and warned him to keep his distance from her in the future. That's right. What kind of family does the Lin Wan family belong to? They can just arrange a job for you and you can live a comfortable life and save you 20 years of hard work. Although Tang Weining is beautiful, she is from a rural family. She has no money and no power. Her mother is also a bad person. If you marry her, her mother will definitely treat you as an enemy and suck your blood for the rest of your life. Second aunt also immediately stepped forward to persuade. She was right about what she said. In his previous life, he married Tang Weining, and Wang Lan was like a vampire, asking him for money every other day. If he didn't give her the money, she would cry, make a fuss, and even threaten to commit suicide. She even tried to instigate her daughter to fight with him. It can be said that the unhappy marriage between him and Tang Weinian was mostly caused by her. Don't worry, Mom. I know what I'm doing and I won't let Lin Wan down, Jiang Nian said. Wang Hong finally felt relieved after hearing Jiang Nian's answer. That's good. Your second aunt and I have picked out a few good dates. You can take a look at them. If you think they are okay, you can send them over tomorrow and let them take a look and set the date. Okay. Jiang Nian replied. After entering the house, Jiang Nian took a look at the dates his mother had chosen. One of them was 5 days later, and the calendar showed it was a very auspicious day, suitable for marriage. The rest were all the aura of next month. Jiang Nian was quite satisfied with it. He put it in his pocket if there was no problem and waited to show it to Tang Weinian's mother tomorrow. Brother Jiang, has Jiang Nian come back? Just then, a greeting came from the yard. Jiang Nian looked carefully and saw that several villagers were carrying sacks and walking into the yard. It turned out that they were the people who had returned from picking hazelnuts.